and Falkirk Motherwell. But the big game today is down at Rugby Park. It's Kilmarnock against Dundee United with Rory Lloyd, John Rankin and Andrew Petrie.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rugby Park and welcome to the Livingston fans that I'm sure are tuning in, desperately hoping for a Dundee United win. That's because a victory for Kilmarnock would relegate the West Lothian side, who have been swirling the drain for what feels like an eternity now. As for these two, well, Kilmarnock just want to get out of that relegation playoff spot. A victory today would go a long way towards that goal. As for Dundee United, I think they just want to get this season over and done with. Mathematically safe, they'll want to finish 7th, of course, but really their attention is already on the summer and another potential rebuild. The team's already out on the pitch. We're doing the toss just now. Kevin Clancy is the referee. Robbie Dees and Ross Graham, the two number 6s, the two captains for either side. I'll just take you through the team news really quickly. Kilmarnock have made just the one change from last week. Jamie Brandon out and Bruce Anderson in. That probably means Finlay Curtis is at right back, and I can tell you there's one man here who we think is here to watch Finlay Curtis. That's Steve Clark. He's sitting down in the main stand just below us. As for Dundee United, they've made 3 changes. Yuri Yovu, Ryan Strain and Vichko Chevet all dropping to the bench. Sam Cleal-Harding, Dario Namo and Pan Kamara all coming in. Kilmarnock will be shooting from right to left as we watch this in the first half. They're in their blue and white stripes. And Dundee United in their black away kit, all black with tangerine trim. Like I say, Kevin Clancy, the man in the middle, wearing yellow. He blows his whistle. We're underway. Greg Kelty kicks off for Kilmarnock, who immediately launch it long towards Joe Hugill. And Ross Graham, under pressure, just watches that go all the way out for a goal kick for Dundee United. Dave Richards, he's wearing tangerine actually. The Dundee United goalkeeper is about to take this goal kick. And it is an interesting stat that Rory mentioned at the top of the show. Jim Goodwin, in 8 attempts as Dundee United manager, has not beaten Kilmarnock yet. Up against Neil McCann today, both already out on the edge of their boxes. Hands in pockets currently. As the goal kick is launched forwards, Aaron Tishbola heads back towards Bruce Anderson, who comes in for what's been a slightly rarer start this season. The ball on the left-hand side with Klushenko. And certainly in the opening stages, it does look like a back 4 for Kilmarnock with Finlay Curtis at right back. I'm not sure what that would do for his potential World Cup chances, as the ball is launched long by Max Stryek. Straight towards Dave Richards, the Dundee United goalkeeper. John Rankin and Rory Lloyd join me. John, Finlay Curtis at right back. We were talking about it a little bit before kick-off. Are you surprised to see him there, and do you think that could actually help him, that versatility?
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see him there, knowing that Neil McCann spoke about it before the game, but I don't think it's Finlay's biggest strength having to defend from that area. He'll obviously cause a threat going forward, and he will cause problems for Ferry going the opposite direction. It may well be that's part of Neil's plan, to draw Ferry out and can Finlay go and step into the game, which he's ready to do just now, because Finlay's getting drawn into the midfield battle, because obviously Kilmarnock have got an overload in there. But I'm not sure Steve Clark will see him as part of his squad as a right back. But again, it just shows you Finlay's versatility, because he's a left winger at Rangers coming through, and now he's found himself at right back this afternoon in the Premier League. But I'm sure, knowing Finlay's attitude, he won't be complaining. He'll just be delighted to be on the football pitch.
Well, it's a free kick to Dundee United down in their right corner. It's Dario Namo who won it. He's another who could actually be at the World Cup, but not with Finland, possibly with Iraq, who are sniffing around to see if he can change allegiances. One to keep an eye on for Dundee United, who would pocket a bit of money if he were to travel over to North America in the summer. As Dave Richards launches this one up the pitch towards Finlay Curtis, who gets the header on it. Nods it back towards Hugill. Bouncing around in the middle. Game of head tennis breaking out, but Tom Lowry able to pick up. It comes back to Curtis, who gets it long to Hugill, trying to flick onto Anderson, who made the run in behind Ross Graham, but the Dundee United captain able to head away. Still 0-0 in the very early stages of this one at Rugby Park. Well, Ferry up to Sapsford, plays the 1-2. Tries to get it forward, but the ball springs away, and Robbie Dees is able to pick up Tishbola. To Michael Schooning-Larson, who's been a good signing for Killie since joining in January. Striding forward, he's got Klushenko ahead of him, tried to roll it into Greg Kilty. but instead United pick up and fire it straight to Max Waters, who's quite calm and just plays it back to Dario Namo. Now Sam Cleal-Harding under pressure. Another young Scot who's getting a chance perhaps towards the end of the season with not a lot on the line for Dundee United. It could be good news for Scotland. It's United breaking forward now up the left-hand side. Will Ferry has it. He's going to run it. Findlay Curtis goes on the outside, puts the cross in, could drop for Sapsford. Sapsford with the shot, straight at Max Stryjek. That was a big chance for Dundee United, and Zach Sapsford was still caught a little on his heels. It's very early into the game. Could have done a lot better with that. Kilmarnock have launched the counter straight away. Kilty trying to get round Cleal-Harding. He goes down, he wins the free kick. So now it's a chance for Kilmarnock up the other end, but Dundee United might be thinking they could have been ahead there. Zach Sapsford firing straight at Max Stryjek. Big chance, Rory.
Yeah, it was, Andrew. And Will Ferry does ever so well down the left-hand side. Findlay Curtis tucked in maybe slightly too far. It gives Ferry the space to run at him. One touch, shift out his feet, he plays it across. And Sapsford, you know, he's instinctive in the box. You'd fancy him to trouble the goalkeeper a little bit more than he did there. Possibly didn't catch it too well on the surface, right enough. And it's an easy take for Stryjek. Well, she'll feel him into the game after his return, but Kilmarnock have a very dangerous free kick here.
Yeah, Greg Kilty standing over it. Nicky Klashenko there as well. It will be Greg Kilty to deliver this. A two-man wall for Dundee United. Kilty crosses to the front post. It's not the best, and it's headed away at the front post. Kilmarnock trying to keep it alive, but Dundee United pick it up. Zach Sapsford could come away with this now. He just knocks it back to Ferry. Plays it back to Sapsford on the halfway line. And now the ball picked up by Emmanuel Adji in the midfield. He loses it to Tishbola, who now breaks forward. A chance for Kilmarnock, 3-on-4. He slips it to the left. Kilty picks up. He's forced a little wide, crosses back in. There's the header. Brilliant save, Dave Richards, denying Tom Lowry. Might well be the smallest player on the pitch, but he's almost scored with a header there. Dave Richards, fantastic save. Chances at both ends early on. And there's an update as well from Inverness. Ailey Davis, what can you tell us? Well, we'll get that
It's a plan for them. Paul Allen with a corner and Danny Devine tapping in to put Inverness 1-0 ahead here at the Caledonian Stadium.
That's a big goal in League One for Inverness. Of course, going for that title. Meanwhile, back at Rugby Park, it is Kilmarnock who have the corner after a brilliant header from Tom Lowry. Was well saved by Dave Richards. The outswinging corner in now. It's Emmanuel Adji, the Dundee United midfielder, who gets the header on it. Still 0-0 after 5 minutes, and Michael Schooning-Larsen has to go all the way back to Max Stryjek. So an entertaining end-to-end start here at Rugby Park, although like we say, Dundee United don't necessarily have a lot to play for. Kilmarnock certainly do.
Yeah, you say it was a brilliant header, Andrew. I think he's got to score. He gets up really, really well. He's in the middle of the box. It's a brilliant connection on the header. But I just think if you glance it or you go back across the goalkeeper either side, there's so much pace on the ball that it's going in the back of the net. So it should be one each, because Sapsford should do better. But I don't know what John thinks, but I think he's just got to guide the header into one of the corners.
I knew you were going to say that as a striker. He was always going to say that. I'm looking at Lowry thinking you're 5'6" and you've just got a header and goal. It's brilliant.
Well, the cross comes in now for Dundee United, and Max Stryjek has to palm away for a corner. I think it might have been Will Ferry who was lurking around the back post for Dundee United on the right-hand side, actually, the other side for Will Ferry. United go in for it now, and they'll have the corner. Will Ferry walking across to take this in the shadow. But it has been a flying start to this game.
Yeah, I just think if you're in the middle of the box, 6 yards out, and you get a clean header on it, I think you're fancying yourself to score a goal. Not to be on that occasion.
Will Ferry with an in-swinger now for Dundee United. Curls to the back post. The header is from a Kilmarnock player. Comes back out to Ferry. Takes a touch and squares up his man. Goes on the right foot to the byline. Cuts it back. Zach Sapsford curls it high over the bar. Brilliant start to this game. But I'm with you, Ranks. I think 5'6". I think he was just delighted to get up there. Tom Lowry and
John, that's around your height. Would you have scored that?
I'd have got my head on it, just pretty similar, but I'd have been delighted just to get a head on it.
So big chances at both ends. Max Stryjek just about to take the goal kick here. Dundee United are one of the form teams in the league as well. Maybe picked up at the wrong time, really, as Dario Namo scurries to keep the ball out on the right-hand side. Kilmarnock trying to pick it up. The ball drops for Hugel, and it is Kilmarnock who will come forward now. Greg Kilty out to Nicky Klashenko. just his second start for Kilmarnock. Trying to get away from Cleel Harding. It will just be a goal kick. Good defending from Sam Cleel Harding. Stood him up. Nicky Kloshenko, he's waited a long time to get into this Kilmarnock team. Wanted him to do a little better there.
Yeah, you wanted him to do a little better, but I'm not sure this Kilmarnock system's a 4-4-2. I know Neil McCann spoke about it earlier. We were talking about Finlay Curtis playing as a right back, but it looks to me as if it's a 4. You've got 2 sitting in front, you've got Kilty's playing as a 10, and you've got the wide man on this side, Laurie, as if they've got a kind of a winger lopsided.
It's almost a diamond with Kilty playing in behind the 2 strikers and Tishbola being the one that's screening.
Yeah, and you're because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking Kleshenko from this side is actually kind of coming wide to try and pin the wing back in, so he's getting a free run at it, but Kilmarnock are picking up all the scraps in the middle of the pitch, and Finlay Curtis is actually able to step in at times, but it's just a case of can they get the ball over him.
I think this is kind of the formation they played when they beat Livingston 2-0. I think so that lopsided diamond is. The shot comes in from Max Waters. It's high over the bar. Dundee United trying to come forward there. Waters drilling one from about 25 yards out, always going over. Still 0-0 as we approach the 10th minute. But yeah, that lopsided diamond, it's worked for them before. I think it was Finlay Curtis who was the winger that day, and Greg Kilty so keen to play that number 10 role. As Kilmarnock have the goal kick and try and just play it out from the back here. Tom Lowry playing it back to Stanger, fires it forward to Hugo, lovely flick, releasing Greg Kilty. Fan Kamara was with him, and the pass from Kilty wasn't the best. I think he thought Tom Lowry was a little bit quicker there. Instead it's United who can mop up. Kilmarnock trying to get to the second ball, it's just out for a throw-in to Dundee United on the far side.
Yeah, that was good play that, John, by Kilmarnock there. Yeah. They worked it really well at the back, and it opened up the space for the 2 strikers to shuffle across, and it was just the final pass that was lacking.
The lopsided diamond's forcing Cleel Harding to come out. That's what it's doing. It's almost as if Dundee United are 3 for 3 at the back. So I know they're playing that way and they're pinning it in. But when the Kilmarnock were going to build there, Rory's right, it was great play from them. But they actually isolate them on the right hand side to try and get through. So they've got an overload on the left. It's actually tactically really good to watch here.
The ball with Robbie Dees, the Kilmarnock captain currently. He's striding forward, not under too much pressure, and he finds Tom Lowry, who's in loads of space in the midfield. Actually now closing him down, but Lowry able to spin away from him. And Kilmarnock coming forward again. Bruce Anderson out to Shuning Larsson. Not the best pass, and Neil Ferrugia can get back there, but Shuning Larsson battling for it. A big shoulder charge there. The ball comes off the Estonian, goes out for a Dundee United throw right down near their corner flag on the right hand side. But Kilmarnock have been linking up really well in the opening stages of this one. Sam Cleel Harding to take the throw.
Worked back well there, Ferrugia. He was, after Will Ferry, for me, the best player on the pitch last week. I think he's really good. I've seen him a couple of times. He's come into the team later in the season, but his touch is good. He works hard. He's big. He's strong. He's athletic. Really like Ferrugia.
That will be a Kilmarnock free kick, not too far from the edge of the Dundee United box. I think that was Greg Kilty who was just caught there, and it's a bit of a sloppy one for Dundee United to give it away. And if they were to concede from this, I'm sure Jim Goodwin would be absolutely furious. Greg Kilty standing over it again, but we've got a goal at Dens Park. Willie Miller.
Yes, indeed. After a very, very sluggish start from both sides, you would think there was nothing to play for out there, but it has been. A goal for Dundee. Good build-up play down the right, eventually cross coming in, and Joe Wesley taking it on the volley. It actually wasn't a particularly great strike by him, but he somehow managed from the right-hand side, just beyond the penalty spot, to sneak it in at the back post, off that back post. So after a sluggish start from both sides, this game has burst into action, and it's Dundee that's taking the lead.
Well, that Kilmarnock free kick just went behind for a corner. I think it was a Dundee United defender just able to glance that on. So a big goal down at the bottom. Dundee with it. As Kilmarnock whip the corner in, it's headed away by Ross Graham. Tom Lowry trying to put it back into a dangerous area. Tishbola able to pick up the ball back with Kilty. Kilmarnock again knocking it around nicely. Tishbola fires in the cross. Christian Korestes able to head away at the front post, but the Rugby Park crowd are pretty happy with what they're seeing so far. Still 0-0, but Kilmarnock looking good in the opening stages. It will be a throw on the far side, and it looks like it's going to be a long one there. Chucking everyone into the box here. Another set piece opportunity perhaps for Kilmarnock. Here comes the throw now. It's flicked on by Tishbola, not the best flick on though. Nodded back into a dangerous area, and Shuning Larsson was running. Sorry, it's George Stanger I think running, but Dave Richards able to collect on the bounce. So that goal at the bottom, not good news for St Mirren fans, not at all, as Dave Richards launches it long for Dundee United. Max Waters trying to pick up the scraps, and that's what he does. Pan Kamara has it now. Just going backwards in the midfield for Dundee United, and he has to go all the way back to Ross Graham, who goes all the way back to Dave Richards, firing it out to Korestes on the left-hand side. Dundee United just trying to halt the Kilmarnock momentum just for a second, because the hosts have dominated the opening stages, although Dundee United did have that early chance through Zach Sapsford. As Richards launches it long again, Waters flicks down to Sapsford. Now Will Ferry up on the overlap. He cuts it back. Could drop for Farrugia on the edge of the box. Takes a big touch. And then another. Then lays it back to Sapsford, who stabs the shot, and it goes just wide. It's another corner. Max Stryek looked on desperately there. The ball going the other side of the post. Another Dundee United corner.
Yeah, Dundee United's patience worked really well there, because Tishbola followed Kamara all the way into his own half, and it left a huge gap just to drop it into Waters, and that's how Dundee United get their success there. Ferry's causing all sorts of problems down that side as well. He's a really good player. It's going to be an interesting battle all day between him himself.
It will be Will Ferry to deliver this corner again. Once again, the outswinger. In-swingers headed away this time. Emmanuel Adji trying to pick up on just the side of the box. Pan Kamara coming for support. That's where Adji goes. He goes inside to Dario Namo. United keeping pretty much everyone forward here as Namo clips it to the corner of the, well, I thought it was the corner of the box. Comes all the way through to Max Stryek, who launches it long immediately. But he's inaccurate with that kick. And Greg Kiltie expresses his frustration. I think he just wanted it thrown out to him. There was an acres of space. There was a chance for the Kilmarnock counter there, but not the best clearance from Max Stryek.
That was an opportunity for me for Kilmarnock on the break. As you say, he comes and collects, but there's an opportunity for him to throw it early, and Kiltie's away, but he doesn't. He didn't. He takes his time, and then he tries a half volley, and it goes straight to the Dundee United defender. But that's an opportunity for Kilmarnock on the break, and you can see it at set pieces. Dundee United are flooding bodies forward, and they will have opportunities.
Well, Kilmarnock playing it a bit dangerously there, but Aaron Tishbola does just enough to work the ball to George Stanger. He's coming forward. Neil McCann furious on the touchline at something, but it's a good ball that might put Joe Hugill in here. He's into the box. He's got Ross Graham for company. Knocks it back. A high curled cross to the back post. Maybe not the best idea, but it's a Kilmarnock head that gets to it. United not really clearing that properly until Dario Namo steps in, and Aaron Tishbola gets the ball under his control and just plays it into Lowry. And again, it's Kilmarnock who just have that little bit more to them in the opening stages. 15 minutes gone. Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 0. Hugill now has the ball. He's under pressure from Korestes. He's appealing for the free kick, and he gets it from Kevin Clancy. Another set-piece opportunity for Kilmarnock. We're seeing lots of these so far, Rory, but they've not really done a lot with them.
Yeah, indeed. They put balls into good areas, but when you've got three big centre-backs, Ross Graham right in the middle of the three, it's very, very difficult, and the delivery needs to be perfect for someone to get on the end of it and try and score a goal. As I was saying just before that corner came on at the other end, Will Ferry against Finlay Curtis all day is going to be a really interesting one.
There's the ball in from Kiltie. Ross Graham with the header, and then Pan Kamara adds the extras. Dundee United able to deal with that more than sufficiently. The ball at the back with Shuning Larsson. Robbie Dees looks up and sprays it long, looking for Greg Kiltie, who does brilliantly to flick it down to Hugill. It's a nice touch to get it onto the right. He drives the shot. Kiltie deflects towards goal. Richards saves, and then Kiltie's follow-up with the header is just wide. Well, Dundee United were looking for a flag that never came there. It looked like Greg Kiltie was about to divert Kilmarnock into the lead, but Dave Richards makes the reflex save.
That's a huge chance for Kilmarnock. Ball over the top. We speak about Ross Graham dominating from there. Hugill drags him short, and the ball goes over the top, so Graham's out of it. But it's Kiltie that makes a run and knocks it down to Hugill. You'd expect it to be the opposite way. Hugill takes his touch and fires it across the goal, but as he fires it across the goal, I don't know how Kiltie's in that amount of space in the middle of the 6-yard box, but he just hits it straight at the goalkeeper. He'll be disappointed with that. I think that's a massive opportunity for Kilmarnock to get themselves in front.
I think it was Korestes who played him on. He was a couple of yards deeper, but sometimes when you get three centre-backs, John, I think you're just waiting for somebody else to do it, and no one does it in the end.
Yeah, it's uncertainty with the three of them, because if you've got two, they know they've got to pick up, especially when they've got the two strikers.
The ball headed back towards Christian Korestes. It's not the best header, doesn't find a Dundee United man, and Jim Goodwin looks around in frustration as once again it's Kilmarnock on the ball. Aaron Tishbola Just knocks it back to Robbie Dees, who's in plenty of space, takes the step forward. Out to the left-hand side, Nicky Klashenko. Just has to go back to his skipper. Kilmarnock do look more comfortable on the ball, and Neil McCann talked about putting Finlay Curtis in there and it being a more attacking team. He wanted more bodies forward. It's working so far, but they've lost the ball in the midfield there. How can Dundee United react? Pan Kamara crowded out, but somehow gets the ball to Emmanuel Adji. Works it to Carestes and Will Ferry. Now has it, looking for Sapsford. The short option instead goes to Adji. Round the corner. Dundee United with the ball in midfield. Sapsford, who still has it, goes on a little run but loses it straight away. And Tishbola able to pick up. Another good winter edition from Kilmarnock. I think they did recruit fairly well. I know obviously down in 11th place, but a lot of the players that were signed have been playing in this starting 11, and there has been certainly an improvement in performance under Neil McCann and Billy Dodds. As Robbie Dees has the ball now, shooting Larson. Bruce Anderson came short, but it goes long to Hugo, who's up against Carestes, and Carestes just has to poke that, and it will go for a throw only. Sorry, maybe it is a corner in fact. Greg Kilty going for it. Kilmarnock once again showing that they're capable of playing through the phases, but also just going long. And that time it's worked for them. Greg Kilty across to take the corner. This one an in-swinger now in the sunshine in Ayrshire. Klashenko offering the short option. You can imagine this one's going into the box. Kilmarnock crowding players around Dave Richards. That's where it goes, and it might be a goal. It is! Kilmarnock score. It's Robbie Dees with potentially a vital goal for Kilmarnock. The corner curled to the back post. Dave Richards clawing it thin air, and Robbie Dees leapt to just side foot that ball home. Far too easy for Kilmarnock. Dundee United will be furious, but Neil McCann will be delighted.
Yes, indeed. I said not so long ago that the delivery would need to be absolutely on the money if they were to avoid the back three of Dundee United, the three big ones, and it was. That's definitely from the training ground. Robbie Dees round the back manages to tap it in. Dundee United will be extremely disappointed. It's such a soft goal to lose. Really well played from Kilmarnock. You can't really say they don't deserve it on the balance of play so far. No, they definitely deserve it. The Kilmarnock have been really good. They've played the ball forward. They've got energy, and they've got people in that area running in. But when you look at the ball there, that's definitely worked off the training ground. Though it was kung fu-esque at the back post with Dees. It was outside his left foot.
Yeah, kung fu fighting from Robbie Dees, and it's put Kilmarnock ahead. And you can hear the atmosphere at Kilmarnock. The fans are absolutely delighted, and like you say, John Rankin, Kilmarnock fully deserve that. They've started this game superbly.
Yeah, they have, and as we said, Neil McCann spoke about it before the game. There would be 4-4-2. Finlay Curtis would play right back. We knew it wasn't going to be that way. It was just trying to figure out what it was. But the lopsided diamond on this left-hand side is causing United problems because they're able to pin them in. But not only that, when it does come out, they're picking up the second balls because they've got an overload in the middle of the pitch, and it's just continually coming back. And as Rory says, the three United defenders, although they're only up against two, none of them are really picking up.
No.
Well, Kilmarnock had the set piece there. They've just gone back to shooting Larson, who's having a little run inside. He just knocks it back to Stanger. Now the ball with Bruce Anderson. He's probably been the only Kilmarnock player we've not really mentioned too much so far. But he's making all those little runs that are freeing up Greg Kilty and Joe Hugill. The ball now with shooting Larson. And now Aaron Tishbola just inside the Dundee United half here on the left-hand side. 21 minutes gone. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 0 after that Robbie Dees goal, and Kilmarnock have worked the space for shooting Larson. Toying with Dundee United at the moment. Hugill back to Klashenko. He just goes back to Robbie Dees. Kilmarnock so composed on the ball at the moment. It's George Stanger looking for Tom Lowry. Flicks it round the corner to Bruce Anderson.
Oh,
there's Finlay Curtis making the run. This is really nice to watch for Kilmarnock, but Curtis's touch was just too big. And then Greg Kilty fouls Pan Kamara in the middle.
It's really good play from Kilmarnock. What Finlay Curtis is actually playing as a right back. We thought he would be really high as a right winger almost to get them out on that side, but he's not. He's playing deeper, which is actually drawing Ferry out, because Ferry's obviously been told, make sure Curtis doesn't get advanced, make sure Curtis doesn't get any balls into the box. So Ferry's desperate to jump and go and press that one, but what it's doing is It's allowing the space in front in the left back area for Dundee United, but Carestes doesn't want to come out of there. He's a left centre back, doesn't want dragged out, and it's allowing so much space for Kilmarnock to run into. So again, we're talking about being lopsided diamond on the left hand side, but almost Finlay Curtis just playing as a flat back four on the right hand side is causing United problems with sucking them out areas that they don't want to come out of.
So rotations as well, John, in the middle of the pitch, you're absolutely right as well, because Waters has been told just to stand on Tishbola after the first 10 minutes or so, but because Tishbola's then spinning, coming out of the space, and you've got the other midfielders getting into the space, it becomes very difficult because Waters doesn't want to end up way back the pitch. So Kilmarnock have got their number at the moment, Dundee United. Will Ferry is struggling at the moment. He came off last week and he was limping in the derby, so I was actually surprised to see him start today. So interesting to see if he manages to get through much more of this game.
He's been holding his groin for the very early on. I think it was about 3 minutes in, I looked at him, he's holding his left groin, but again, someone with that experience and the way he's played over the last 4 or 5 games, the form he's in, you have to continue to try and get him out there.
Well, that's it. He's the goal threat for Dundee United at the moment. Hadn't scored in his first 75 appearances for the club. He's got 4 in his last 4. It looks like he's going to be okay to continue at the moment. Dundee United do have their subs out there warming up as the ball comes back to Ross Graham, and United just have their foot on the ball again. It takes Emmanuel Adjei a couple of touches to get the ball under control, and United just working it around the back three, trying to prise Kilmarnock apart, but Kilmarnock are disciplined in their press at the moment, and it's worked all the way back to Dave Richards with really much pressure going on the ball. Richards launches it long. Shooting Larson with the touch. Pan Kamara picks up. Will Ferry back on the pitch now for Dundee United as Ross Graham has the ball. Kamara out to the left-hand side for Carestes. Tom Lowry is going to close Will Ferry down, and it's just knocked back into the Dundee United half. Patient might be one word for it for Dundee United current phase of play. This ball comes into Neil Farrugia. Again, he's crowded out, but he's done well to twist away from a couple. I think he wins the throw-in as well there.
No, it was a foul. He shot pulled. It was a really good turn actually from Farrugia, but I think he's given the free kick. He has it recycled again. I know it's the official party line from Neil McCann and most managers that they don't check on the other scores, but as it stands, Kilmarnock currently 10th.
Yeah, that goal at Dens Park that has put Dundee 1-0 ahead of St Mirren. Such a roller coaster of a season for the Buddies. I don't think they'd trade that League Cup win for anything, but they might be trading it for the Premiership place. As things stand, it looks like they are heading to the playoffs. And as things stand, of course, as well, Livingston are going to be relegated. Confirmation that we've been waiting for a while. Unless Dundee United can come back and Livingston can pull off an even greater escape. That's what Marvin Bartley said after the 2-2 draw between Livingston and Aberdeen last night. Really entertaining game, that one, in West Lothian. Dundee United have eventually worked the ball up to the left. Will Ferry running onto it. Looks unburdened at the moment, but Sapsford slips, manages to keep the ball, the Australian. Plays it back to Ferry, who tries to think it through for Sapsford. Kilmarnock able to clear. Now Bruce Anderson is going to put Ross Graham under real pressure. Graham does really well just to nod that back to Dave Richards. One thing you're certain to get from a Bruce Anderson performance, he's going to be a pest, and that's what he was there.
They're having no success, Andrew, just passing it around here, Dundee United. It's very difficult, and I'm not advocating just booting up the pitch, but Max Waters has offered to run the channels 2 or 3 times now. Claire Harding, for me, he's got to play it in the corner, try and turn Kilmarnock and get Dundee United up the pitch at times to try and create space, because this so far hasn't been working for them.
They just won a free kick, and Will Ferry immediately played that long diagonal out to Neil Farrugia on the right-hand side. He's knocked it back into Emmanuel Adjei, and it goes back to Ross Graham, and I think we're going to see the same again as Carestes has it on the halfway line. Looks at his options in front of him, decides to turn back. 26 minutes gone. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 0. A goal from Robbie Dees. That might be a foul, and it is. It's a soft one from Michael Shooning Larson, just barging Neil Farrugia in the back, and a chance for Dundee United. What will they do from this? Sam Cleal-Harding has it. It doesn't look like they're going to knock it into the box. Cleal-Harding standing with his hands outstretched and just knocks it to Ross Graham, who plays it across to Carestes, hoping to catch Kilmarnock cold, but again they're set up well. Sapsford has it though. Ferry trying to unlock the defence, plays it inside to Pan Kamara. Farrugia peeled off his man, tries to spin, loses the ball. Aaron Tishbola has it. Farrugia drags him to the deck, and that might well be a card. Kevin Clancy could be lenient here. Nope, he's got the card out. And that will be a booking for Neil Farrugia, and again a soft one for Dundee United to pick up.
Yeah, another one as you're looking at it, Kilmarnock are actually really patient. The home crowd are actually understanding it. The Dundee United are playing it across the back. Kilmarnock are quite happy to sit off it and be a mid-block basically, but when it goes in there, they're forcing the play inside, and as soon as it goes inside, Kilmarnock have got an overload. They've got the 4 bodies in there, they're stealing it and they're ready to go and break. But Tishbola has made so many interceptions and been able to go and play forward. But when they're playing forward with a purpose. But they're not just playing forward, they've got runners off it as well.
Robbie Dees with the free kick, launches it long towards Hugel. He's done really well to keep that in, and he finds Klashenko as well. Tishbola is free in the middle, that's where the ball goes. He tries to play it out to the right, but that ball was never on, and Will Ferry is able to pick up. Dundee United trying to spring the counter. It's not the fastest counter-attack in the world as Ferry loops forward and then plays it to Waters, who's made that run into the channels and wins the throw. And we've got another goal in Inverness. Ailey Davis.
Yeah, well, as it stands here, it looks like Inverness are going to be returning to the championship. This time, who else but the club's top goal scorer, Billy Mackay, with a close range effort. It's Inverness 2, Hamilton 0.
Thank you, Ailey. Yep, big goal there. Again, Inverness looking likely to go up as Will Ferry takes the long throw. It's headed away by Kilmarnock, and they're trying to come out now as Dario Namo launches it high into the middle. Max Stryjek should catch that one. He's currently not got the sun in his eyes. That'll change second half as Stryjek launches it long, looking for, I think it's the run of Kilty, who's up against Emmanuel Adji. Bruce Anderson there to support him. That'll go all the way out for a throw deep in the Dundee United half. There's also been a couple of goals in League Two. They've both come for East Kilbride against Clyde, so it looks like East Kilbride are currently going to win League Two and go up as champions. Goals from John Robertson, surprise, surprise, and Connor Young, the two strikers there, as Will Ferry prepares to take this throw deep inside his own half here at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 1-0 up against Dundee United, almost half an hour gone. It has been Kilmarnock. They've been the better of the two sides. There's been chances for both to score a couple more, but Robbie D is the only clinical finisher so far, as it's a throw again on the far side for Dundee United.
There's an element of urgency about Kilmarnock's play. That's what you would say from the first half. And listen, they've got everything to play for. We spoke about it before the game, but it's that urgency going forward with people prepared to run and run aggressively that's got them in front.
Well, we discussed it before the game, John, and we said that it's different between trying to nick 7th place and actually having to win to stay in the league, and it is panning out that way.
Well, it's going to be a free kick here to Kilmarnock. There's been a few soft fouls that have been given away, and another chance for the hosts to just swing this ball towards the box. Robbie Dees is up, George Stanger is up, Aaron Tishbola is there as well. And it will be another set-piece delivery from Greg Kilty. Curl towards the back post. There's the header from Stanger, comes down. Dave Richards able to gather. Robbie Dees was lurking. The goalkeeper had to be alert there.
Be a concern for Jim Goodwin how many times when that ball goes in that box that Kilmarnock get first contact on that, John.
100%, and you can see him getting angrier and angrier from the side here. They're inviting pressure, they're giving away silly fouls. You've got good Ross Graham in the middle of the six. You've got the 3 centre-backs dotted either side, two other centre-backs dotted either side of them, but they are getting first contacts because they're missing those 3 out, whether it be front post or the back area. But again, you're looking for your centre-backs to take charge at that point. There's only so much you can do and put them in the areas, but it comes down to that willingness to go and head the ball.
Robbie Dees has the ball on the halfway line. He pings it forward, looking for Bruce Anderson, who got the flick on, but there was no Kilmarnock player there.
Andrew, we're talking about aggressive in the air. We've got Bruce Anderson and Greg Kilty as 2 of the front 3 for Kilmarnock, and they are actually winning more headers than the 3 centre-backs for Dundee United put together. It's just a desire to go and win a ball in the air.
If Hugel actually anticipates that he's going to win it, I don't think he actually thinks he's going to. He could have been on the end of that.
Yeah, Sam Cleal-Harding, Ross Graham and Christian Caresta. It's all above 6 foot. And they're really struggling with the aerial threat of Greg Kilty and Bruce Anderson. You don't say that all the time, but really good play from the Kilmarnock attackers. It's a Dundee United throw though, inside the Kilmarnock half. Dario Namo with it, just plays it to Neil Farrugia. Skips away from the challenge of Klashenko. Up against Shuning Larson. What can Namo do? Can win a throw again for Dundee United, who might think about the long option. Certainly looks like what they're going to do. Will Ferry again kind of taking his time, doesn't look the most comfortable.
I think he maybe gave a corner, Andrew. I thought it was a throw in as well, but I think he pointed to the corner.
Either way, Will Ferry's going to take it for Dundee United. It does look like a corner. So that's how Kilmarnock scored. How can Dundee United try and get on the score sheet? Will Ferry with it. All of the players in that 6-yard box at the back post. That's where the ball goes. Adji with the header. Max Stryek up to just pick that ball out of the sky. And again, he thinks about going long immediately and then just rolls it out to Tishbola. But Kilmarnock again could counter. Just played round the corner. Adji goes down. And it's Tishbola who gives away the free kick there. That was needless, or perhaps it was good play from Emmanuel Adji. Either way, it will be a free kick to Dundee United, which stops the Kilmarnock counter in its tracks.
Yeah, I think Tishbola just put a little bit too much light on the ball. The pitch wasn't the pass wasn't heavy enough, because Finlay Curtis is getting away, and he realises when the pass isn't heavy enough, he just has a tug at him. It's probably a silly foul to go away, because if a wee bit more care in the pass, they're in.
Tishbola plays it round the corner in the middle of the park. Kilmarnock have the ball again. Looking inside for Tishbola. Pankamara stretching and doing just enough, and he slides and sticks a leg out and puts the pass through the legs of the Kilmarnock player. Now it's Dundee United coming forward. Will Ferry with it. Farrugia's made the run, tries to lay it back to Ferry. He takes a touch and then fires the ball to Waters in the box. It's blocked well. The ball's still alive for Dundee United. Namo trying to tee it off to Will Ferry, who's going forward. Will Ferry! It's just wide. I think that will be another corner. Yeah, Will Ferry, though, the goal threat again there for Dundee United, and he almost squeezed that one in.
Yeah, he did, and he's been tremendous, Will Ferry. Kilmarnock have played really well, but he's the shining light for Dundee United. Actually, he took the corner, and Sapsford and Waters were just jogging back in. He overtook them to try and get back, and it's him that ends up the other end trying to get a goal for Dundee United. He's been very, very good in this opening stages, Will Ferry, for Dundee United.
I think he's got a year left on his deal. Certainly Jim Goodwin was talking about him in the press before this game, saying he will certainly be offered a new contract. Plenty of interest in Will Ferry, and no surprise. He plays the corner short to Dario Namo, gets it back and works it onto his left in the box. Might try the shot, he's got room. It's then blocked and closed down at close range. And then Zach Sapsford tries the first time pass to find Dario Namo. It goes straight out for a goal kick. Plenty of room there for Will Ferry. It felt like Kilmarnock were inviting the shot there, and they were able to block it, but Will Ferry, the kind of form he's in, you wouldn't have bet against them there.
It's really brave for Kilmarnock to defend the corner the way they were there. And when you look at it, United have
one out.
Yeah, United have got two shot for the corner, and Kilmarnock don't come out at all. They then play the short corner. Kilty then comes out reluctantly. They play it short. Kilty's having to stop the cross. It goes back to Ferry, and Ferry's actually able to dribble into the 18-yard box. When he dribbles into the 18-yard box, there's still no pressure on the ball. They're reluctant to come out of that middle six, because obviously United have got far superior height advantage. But again, you can't allow Will Ferry to step into it and have a shot from within the 18-yard box.
Certainly can. Kilmarnock still 1-0 up though after 35 minutes. It's a Dundee United free kick in the centre circle. Ross Graham with it. Just plays it to the side to Christian Carestes. Will Ferry again on the ball, and he seems to have recovered fairly well from that earlier knock. We thought it was maybe something to do with his groin, but he's been running okay. As Neil Farrugia has the ball. Pankamara plays the 1-2 with Farrugia. Dundee United just about able to get over the halfway line with Will Ferry now on the left hand side. The sun beating down here at Rugby Park. Carestes with the diagonal, looking for Dario Namo. Michael Schooning-Larsen able to deal with that pretty easily. Sam Cleel-Harding tries to nod it back into an area for Dundee United, who have actually come away with the ball. Neil Farrugia has it, and he tries to cross, but there's nobody really there. Sapsford's chasing it, but that should be easy enough for Finlay Curtis to lamp up the pitch, and that's what he's done. And now it's Hugo up against Carestes, the Hungarian defender, getting the better of Hugo this time. Stanger trying the first time pass. It's almost cut out by Dario Namo, but that will go out for a throw. There's a little shove on Namo, who goes down and appeals for the free kick, not getting it. Greg Kilty just takes his time in throwing the ball back to Schooning-Larsen, and for all Kilmarnock's dominance in the early stages, it has become a lot more even in the last 10 minutes or so. Dundee United with a lot more possession.
Kilmarnock have mixed up well though. They've mixed up in regards to their building from the back, and at times they just put their foot through it and go and clear it. But Bruce Anderson's causing problems. He's not getting a lot of the ball, but he's causing problems just by his movement, because he's always in between two players. Who picks him up? And if there's the two of them coming, there's somebody spare somewhere. So Kilmarnock are actually able to go and find a spare player and then play through them. And again, when they do put the ball forward, they've got bodies to go and support it, and they go and support it quick.
That's Dundee United who have their foot on the ball at the moment. Farrugia just about squeezing it past Bruce Anderson, but Ajit loses it. Tishbola thinks about the shot, then the little chop. He might still play the ball to Klishenko. No one closing him down. Tishbola shoots, and Dave Richards tips it over. No one closing Aaron Tishbola down there. It looked like he was going to fall over. He eventually gets the shot away, and if that had been a goal again, it would have been far, far too easy for Kilmarnock. As it stands, they have another corner.
Well, that's criminal from Aguiu, because what he tries a nutmeg in the middle of the pitch, which, with the flow of the game and Kilmarnock being on top, and he's given the ball away a few times in that position, is unforgivable, because they could be 2-0 down in that stage, and they still might be with this corner.
It's Greg Kiltie to swing it in. This is how Kilmarnock got there first. It goes into the same area. Koreshtes heads away this time. And Will Ferry trying to win the ball off Tom Lowry. Was there a pull back on the Kilmarnock man? Apparently not. Will Ferry coming away with the ball. He doesn't have much support though. He has to turn back now. He thinks about the long Hollywood pass, and then gets a shove in the back instead. Still, Kevin Clancy doesn't give the free kick. You're expecting the whistle at any point. I think all the players are expecting the whistle. They've half stopped here, but Sam Cleal-Harding has it, and he fires it into the feet of Max Waters, who picks up. Dario Namo was an option, but instead it's played to Farrugia. Again, he looks into the box. There's no one really there. Sapsford now there though. Farrugia plays it in. It comes to Sapsford. It's just over the bar. Huge chance for Dundee United to equalise. So slow and pedestrian in how Dundee United got there. Everyone waiting for Kevin Clancy's whistle, which never came, and Dundee United almost took full advantage.
Yeah, just watching this first half, I actually feel sorry to an extent for Zach Sapsford, because many times in my career I considered myself a striker. Zach Sapsford's certainly a striker. He got asked to play on the left hand side, and I think he struggled positionally at times to try and deal with where he's meant to be and where he's meant to track back and how he's meant to get on the ball, but he has had 2 or 3 opportunities from cutbacks. You'd expect him to do better with that one as well.
But see the cutbacks he's had, Rory, I think you're talking about his movement and struggling where he is, because he's at the back post. When he's running across there, he's actually beyond the front post when he's trying to finish. The goal's so much smaller for him to try and actually hit. So it's just a case of timing his run, because there is actually space when the ball comes back to him. He just has to time that run a wee bit better, and if he does, then he's got the whole goal to aim for.
Well, we're starting to approach half time, almost 40 minutes on the clock. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 0. Huge goal for Kilmarnock, huge goal for Livingston as well. That might be their fate sealed if the score stays the same. Bobby Dees chipping it away for Kilmarnock. It drops to Emmanuel Adji in the midfield, and this time he just plays the pass out to Koreshtes, who comes forward, plays it to Will Ferry. Koreshtes has still made the run, but Ferry launches the diagonal. So much room for Namo. It's a decent touch. Can he find a pass? He tries the cross. It's not the best. Finlay Curtis heads away. I think he probably could have let that one go, Finlay Curtis. The ball's bounced back to him now, and the young Scotland cap able to shell it up the pitch as well. Joe Hugo flicks on, and Bruce Anderson picks up. Kilmarnock suddenly on the break here. There's a pass to the back post on. If Bruce Anderson can find it, he holds it up and then somehow gets it to the right hand side. Tom Lowry, he tries to cross now. Too much on that, but Greg Kiltie will still pick up. Kilmarnock's chance not quite over yet. Kiltie looks for options, finds Tishbola. He's got plenty of room on the edge of the box. He curls again. Dave Richards pams away, and it comes straight to Will Ferry. I think that might have been one for the cameras from Dave Richards, who has made a couple of decent saves for Dundee United, who are now on the attack up the other end, but Finlay Curtis has won the ball for Kilmarnock.
Definitely for the cameras a save, but again it's twice Kilmarnock have had it, and it's Tishbola at the edge of the box, able to open up. There's no pressure on the ball whatsoever, and he's got a free shot at goal. The United have to go and get pressure on the ball, but it all stems from, and it all comes from, a long ball from Kilmarnock into the front two. There's a header one, and it's knocked down, and as soon as the ball falls down, it's a Kilmarnock jersey to get there. United 3v2 at the back. So someone has to take control there and go and head it, or go and pick up the second ball.
And is it as simple as Kilmarnock have something to play for here and Dundee United don't? Is that what we're seeing play out?
Pretty much. Look, Kilmarnock, you can see, are hungry and more urgency about them. They go and play forward and go and run forward. As soon as the goalkeeper strike check comes and collects, Kilmarnock have got 2 or 3 bodies sprinting forward to try and go and get in another half and make it hurt, and the bodies are coming up quickly to go and support, whereas United have got it. It's getting passed all the way across the back line. They're safe. They know they're only playing for 7th position, but when you look at Kilmarnock, they've got a real purpose to their play this afternoon, and that's what happens at this stage of the season.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think a few of the Dundee United players have underperformed slightly. Aggie in the middle of the pitch I really like, but he's turned the ball over I don't know how many times and given it away through just being slack really. And tactically I think Kilmarnock have been far stronger than Dundee United as well to this point. I just would like to see maybe Dolchek started the season well, he's faded away, but I think he's a more natural player on that left hand side if you're going to play the three. So it'd be interesting to see what Jim Goodwin does at half time.
Well, Sapsir's just been on the end of a heavy but fair challenge from Tishbolo, and Kilmarnock have launched the counter again. Hugo trying to cut it back, it might still drop here. Klashenko diving for the ball but doesn't get there. It was decent defending in the end by Dundee United, but again just slack, and Kilmarnock almost taking advantage. Adji has the ball now, plays it to Pankamara. Kilmarnock on the back foot here. If Dundee United can get this forward, it could be a chance. Dario Namo just knocks it back to Pankamara, and again it's just a little too pedestrian from Dundee United, but they've got room on the left hand side. That's where the ball's gone. Will Ferry has it. Zach Sapsard's asking for it on the corner of the box. Those two have linked up plenty for United so far today. Not to much effect so far. Will Ferry plays it back to Sapsford now. Kilmarnock have got all the numbers back. Sapsard clips the ball in looking for Waters. Max Stryjek able to gather really simply. Should be said as well how good it is to see Max Stryjek back on a football pitch. This just his second appearance in 6 months after coming back from major heart surgery. Obviously Kilmarnock signing Kieran Wright on loan from Rangers, an emergency loan through the week. We weren't quite sure. Neil McCann was quite coy about which of his goalkeepers was injured. Wouldn't tell us. Was it Kellaroos? Was it Max Stryjek? Looks like it's Kellaroos. He's not involved today. Kieran Wright on the bench. As Dundee United have the ball again. 44 minutes on the clock. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 0. Ross Graham playing it to the left hand side. There has been plenty of chances for both. Zach Sapsard probably having the best of them for United. Kilmarnock, Aaron Tishbola's troubled with a few shots from long range. Tom Lowry with the header as well. Greg Kiltie almost diverted one in, but Dave Richards has made a couple of good saves in that Dundee United goal. Dundee United have churned through goalkeepers so far this season as well.
See, Dundee United have made 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 passes, which is fine, but there's not the movement in the middle of the pitch to play through the thirds. So you're either going to play through the thirds or float one in behind. And I know it doesn't sound great or look great, but Max Waters is continuously, and I've said it before, making that run in behind, and they're just not interested in trying to find him. And then he goes to do it there, and there's a ball into his feet and a mix-up, and it gets cleared. So I'm not saying you persist with just playing it in behind, but if you do it once or twice, what happens is the Kilmarnock backline start to drop maybe 5-10 yards, and it creates a little bit more space for the Dundee United players to on the ball.
Yeah, you can see it. The Kilmarnock are quite patient out of possession, Rory. They're in a block. They're not allowing the balls to go through into the middle area. But when it goes to a centre back and gets them on one side, they all lock on. But when that's happening, Dundee United then turn back and go across the pitch, and then Kilmarnock, by the time they get the ball across the pitch, because it's so slow, are able to lock on to the opposite side. The ball has to go forward quicker, you're right, because Waters is running the channels. It might just need to be turned, because Kilmarnock are doing the same to them, and they're not allowing them any time to go and get back behind it.
And I'm not saying you persist with that, John, and do it constantly. What I'm saying is you're saying that, well, just do it once or twice and ask the question, and then maybe Sapsford can drop into the space, because Kilmarnock went back 3 or 4 yards because they're worried about that run.
Well, just 1 minute of additional time as Neil Farrugia comes forward for United, tries to play the ball to Dario Namo, who'll do well to keep that in. I think he has done, but Max Stryjek out to gather. And that might very well be the last action of the half. Kevin Clancy blows his whistle, and it is Kilmarnock who have the lead at the break here at Rugby Park. A huge goal from Robbie Dees. Kung Fu kicking the ball into the back of the net from a corner. That was floated in by Greg Kiltie. That gave Kilmarnock a well-deserved lead. And although since then Dundee United have maybe dominated the ball more, the chances they've created haven't quite been as clear-cut as the ones that Kilmarnock have created themselves. So the goal at the moment has Kilmarnock in 10th. Dundee are 1-0 up on St Mirren in the other game in the Scottish Premiership. But here at Rugby Park, it's Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 0.
Scottish football lives here.
This is Sports Sound.
That is a beautiful finish!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
I'm Ruben Pallister. That's Niall Kennedy.
On BBC iPlayer.
Ruben is the best and the worst thing all at once.
You still think of him as the boy you grew up with?
From the writer and creator of Baby Reindeer.
He's a psycho. I will put you to sleep. Do you understand?
Starring Richard Gadd and Jamie Bell.
I'm the reason you have meaning in your miserable life.
I hate everything about you. Half man.
We might not flow through each other's veins, but we flow through each other's brains.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Another big weekend in the Scottish football calendar. I'll run down all the scores for you in a few minutes' time. So in our commentary match this afternoon, Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 0. Robbie Dees with that goal for the home side. Lots of chances in that game. We'll get to Willie Miller just shortly. Dundee with the advantage against Mirren. Also today in the top half of the Premiership table, Falkirk are at home to Motherwell. Our reporter there is Martin Dowden. What's been happening, Martin?
Plenty has been happening, Kenny. Falkirk 0, Motherwell 0. The big build-up pre-match, but no goals, no lack of big moments. So Elijah Just came close to an opener with an angled drive. In response, Barney Stewart twice got in the break. One blazed over with Miller free, all alone inside. The second into the side netting when he really ought to have scored. That before the in-goal scoring form, Emmanuel Longello tested Hogarth at the other end. It swung back up the pitch just before half-time. Calvin Miller was superbly blocked. Then Stewart again on the follow-up. Great defending there by Motherwell. Then Ward in the Motherwell goal just before half-time. Absolutely gifted the ball to Stewart. Yards out, but the keeper atoned with a save. A near horror moment for him. 0-0, but enough to suggest the stalemate might not last.
Yes, an entertaining game. Andy Halliday and Tom English in the studio with me here. We're keeping an eye across all the games, and there's been plenty happening, but some decent chances, as Martin said, in that game at the Falkirk Stadium.
Yeah, there has. I thought Motherwell edged the opening 20 minutes of the game. The first real chance coming from that Elijah Just shot that just got dragged by the post. I thought it was great pressure from Motherwell to force the chance, but you've got to say Falkirk have looked really dangerous from that. Anytime they've went direct and they've picked up second balls or tried to play in behind Motherwell's backline. And listen, if your chances are going to fall to anyone from a Falkirk's point of view, you want it to be Barney Stewart, but he's passed up a couple of gilt-edged chances for them. But as Martin says, I would be amazed if this finishes 0-0 at the end of 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's a really intriguing battle because they've had some fantastic games this season. As we said earlier on, Falkirk have had the better of their matches this campaign. So full second half coverage to come on Sports, and Martin will be across everything there. As soon as their goal scored, we'll bring that to you on Sports. And Willie Miller is at Dens Park for us today. Dundee 1, St Mirren 0. Willie, we spoke before the game about the concerns for both these sides. I think the feeling in here was St Mirren on the back of that really poor performance and defeat last weekend, and an experienced interim manager, and these concerns so far, where they're coming to pass.
It's panning out, Kenny, that's for sure. St Mirren have had really no impact, didn't create any opportunities of note. They had a VAR decision to be made. I think it was Phillips that was challenged in the box by Yogan, but nothing was given. They were looking for a penalty, it wasn't given. It's all been about Dundee, and I thought that they might have been a little bit nervous, not being mentioned about that playoff place at all this season, and potentially if this game would go against them, they would be mentioned. But no, they've handled the pressure really well. Jan Danda very influential in midfield. He was the first to have a long-range strike. It wasn't a particularly powerful one, and straight to Sinclair in goal. But the goal came early too, and I think that settles the team down, settles the nerves, and Joe Wesley gets it. It's a cross from Congreve in the right hand side. I think it takes a little deflection, and Wesley then coming from a deeper position volleys it. It's not the best of strike. He kind of drags it towards the back post, but it comes out and off the back post and nestles in the back of the net to give Dundee the lead. Then Danda again, who's been everywhere in the midfield, really taking part in the game, going, collecting. He takes the set pieces as well. He's been influential, putting good crosses into the box. They put a great cross from the right hand side, right into the heart of the St Mirren defence, and it was Richard King that went up. Actually, what a header it was off the crossbar. It almost ended up in his own goal, come off the side of his head, and then Joe Wesley had another attempt at a volley, again didn't catch it, this time though, and went by the far post. So Dundee very much in charge in this one, not looking nervous at all, playing some very decent football. As far as St Mirren are concerned, it's been a lacklustre performance. No real energy for either of the two teams in first 10-15 minutes, but thereafter Dundee taking full control, and it's really, you know, Craig McLeish is struggling. He's struggling to get any kind of powerful performance from his team. So if it continues like this, you can only see one winner, but we all know at half time it's a very narrow lead and things can turn around very quickly. But at half time, Stephen Presley is definitely the happier manager.
Yeah, big second half ahead there, thanks to Willie Miller. So in the top flight, Dundee 1, St Mirren 0, Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 0, Falkirk 0, Motherwell 0. So then just looking at the table at the top, Falkirk 47 points as things stand, Hibs on 51, Motherwell on 58 points. Looking then at the bottom of the table, very much where our focus is today. So Kilmarnock, they have moved above St Mirren as things stand. Kilmarnock 31 points, St Mirren 30, Livingston 20 points as things stand. They would be relegated this afternoon at Marvin Bartley's side. Dundee 36 points. If things stay the way they are, they'll be 6 points clear of St Mirren in that playoff spot. And looking ahead to next weekend, St Mirren are at home to Kilmarnock. What a game that should be. We are covering the big match in League One today, where the champions could be crowned in Inverness, of course, depending on how they do, and a big game elsewhere. But so far, Ailey Davis, Scott Gallagher's side, doing the business.
Yeah, absolutely, Kenny. Things certainly looking to be going the way of Inverness. They did get off to the best possible start here at the Caledonian Stadium. Just 2 minutes on the clock. A Danny Devine tap-in from a Paul Allen corner to open the scoring. And then before the half-hour mark, it was that man, Billy Mackay, a player who certainly knows a bit about the Highland Club, a veteran now, really, he'd be known as here. A close-range effort fired straight into the back of the net. Inverness very much in control, to be honest. Hamilton just really not at the races at all today. Very few chances for them in front of goal, and Ollie Shaw effort, but that was an easy one for Inverness keeper Ross Monroe in the end. So yeah, it's looking like there could be a return to championship football for Inverness if things stay as they are. It's Inverness Cally Thistle 2, Hamilton 0.
Thanks to Ailey. Elsewhere in League One, Alloa Athletic 1, Queen of the South 1, Cove Rangers 0, East Fife 0, Montrose 0, Stenhousemuir 1. Steny are chasing Inverness all the way there, but so far Scott Kelleher's side look like being crowned champions. Peterhead 0, Kelty Hearts 0. So just looking at the live table as things stand, Inverness 69 points, Steny 67 points. They go into playoffs alongside Alloa and Queen of the South. And at the bottom of the table, Kelty Hearts already relegated. Hamilton Accies, they currently sit in the playoff spot at the bottom of that table. It also looks fairly clear cut now in League 2. Annan Athletic 1, Forth Athletic 1. The leaders, East Kilbride 3, Clyde 0. They got off to a flyer in that game. Edinburgh City 4, Dumbarton 0, Elgin City 0, Stranraer 0, and Stirling Albion 0, Spartans 0. So that looks, as things stand, 69 points for East Kilbride. They will be crowned champions this evening. Spartans, Clyde and Forfar will go into the playoffs there. So plenty more to come in the second half right across the country here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. We'll return to our commentary game shortly to get further thoughts from John and from Rory. But just a wee flagging something up for you here. So Sports Sound is shortlisted for Radio Times Moment of the Year at the 2026 Audio and Radio Industry Awards for our unforgettable commentary during Scotland against Denmark.
Scotland just need to hold out for a few more seconds. My voice just needs to hold out for a few more seconds. As Hulman has it, he's surrounded. He pokes the ball back. Surely now Scotland will hold on to possession. It's McLean. He's looking to go for goal from the halfway line. It's chipped. Glorious! Glorious! Kenny McLean with the halfway line. Scotland 4, Denmark 2. We are returning to the World Cup. What a night!
Yeah, a night, a commentary we will never forget. It was an absolute privilege to be there. So the award is decided by a public vote. So please get behind our team. Al, they're doing an amazing job describing the most remarkable game that night. So voting is open now until May the 8th. Go to the Arias Audio Academy and vote for Israel. We'll also post this onto our socials later on. So give us a vote on there, because I think that is It was just an incredible moment, described perfectly by Alistair Lamont, our commentator on the evening at Hampden Park. So there's a public vote up until the 8th of May. Go to the Arias Audio Academy and give Sportsound your vote. That would be very much appreciated from all of us here on the team. Let's then get back to that commentary match then at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Dundee United. Rory Loy and John Rankin alongside Andrew Petrie. Have you enjoyed that first half, Rory?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good from a Kilmarnock point of view, especially. Dundee United have actually had chances, Kenny. You know, we've spoken a lot about Kilmarnock and their intensity and their willingness to get after the ball, and it's not all been pretty. You know, they've played quite direct at times. The amount of headers that Hugill and Anderson have won has been quite remarkable, given the height of the back three of Dundee United, and Jim Goodwin will not be pleased with that. The manner of the goal as well, which comes in. But it's been an entertaining game. Dundee United have had chances, as I said. Kilmarnock have had chances. Be interesting to get Tom and Andy's thoughts on Tom Lowry's header. It's split opinion here. I thought he should have scored. The other guys not so much. But there should have been goals at either end. There really should have. But I think over the piece, it's been an entertaining game, and Kilmarnock probably just deserve to be 1-0 up.
Yeah, I think it's a free header. What was it, maybe 8 yards out? And yeah, I'm with you. I think he should score. Listen, you don't expect him to go in the end of crosses with the height he's got, but I think it's a free header. I think he directs it either a yard either side of Dave Richardson and goals. I think it's a goal, but yeah, just gets good enough contact on it, but just right down the sort of eye line and the goalkeeper, and it's a sort of easy safety tip over the bar.
Andy, I'm just speaking at somebody at 5'7". If I header the ball in the middle of the 6-yard box, I'm celebrating whether it goes in the net or not.
You've been in the 6-yard box.
Exactly.
By the way, I'm saying he should score. I wouldn't have scored either, but I'm expecting him to score.
John, what struck me this week, despite a poor run of results and conceding these early goals, I've listened a lot to Neil McCann. We heard him pre-match today. He's been very, very confident in this group, and we're seeing why today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. You look at how they're playing, they're positive, but what the difference being, Kenny, sometimes they're playing out for the back and they're inviting Dundee United's press. Then Dundee United come to go and press when they're going to play for the back, and they just go long. So they've mixed up really well. They've got the mix of it well. But not only that, when they're going long, sometimes when you're ready to build out for the back and you go long, the players are in between, so they're not ready to pick up second balls. But Kilmarnock are winning the first ball, the second ball, and sometimes even the third, just with the hunger to go and get on the end of it. So you can see the confidence he has in the players, and you can see why he's got that confidence, because we spoke about it earlier. He's come in here, they've won 6 league games all season. 5 of them been here, but 4 of them been under Neil McCann. So you can see that he's got that momentum here, and he's trying to build that. But there's a good crowd. They've got Kilmarnock players look as if they're playing with a bit of freedom, a bit of confidence, but more so a bit of determination.
Yeah, they're just coming back out down there at Rugby Park, Tom. For me, again, we discussed this before the game, there's got to be a real concern now over St Mirren, who currently occupy that playoff spot.
Yeah, there is. I mean, St Mirren can't score goals. 27 goals all season in the league. It's a pitiful number. And maybe the chickens are coming home to roost here now, because Kilmarnock, you look at Kilmarnock against Dundee United, Kilmarnock look like a team who have got a rage for victory, who really on the edge, who've got something to play for. Dundee United don't. So Kilmarnock had that real hard edge about them. St Mirren you'd think would be the same, but they just a team devoid of confidence. Like, they've a load of injuries for sure, but wow, they're on a downward spiral here.
Yeah, we've got a St Mirren fan joining us later, also an Inverness Cally Thistle fan. It looks like he'll be celebrating when he joins us on the programme. Mind, we're on YouTube tonight, 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock. Have a look for us there. BBC Sports Scottish Football. Lots of fans joining us. Some big games today. All the goals, updates from Dens Park, also from the game at the Falkirk Stadium. But our commentary matches at Rugby Park. Dundee United away to Kilmarnock with Rory Lloyd, John Rankin and Andrew Petrie.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Yes, we thought there might be a Dundee United change at half-time. It's actually come for Kilmarnock. Dom Thompson is on, replacing Nicky Klashenko. So you'd think that might be Finlay Curtis a little higher up the pitch. Dom Thompson coming on at left-back. Michael Schooning-Larson moving to right-back. And Finlay Curtis a little further forward. That will probably please Steve Clark, who I think is probably here to see Finlay Curtis. No disrespect to the other Scots that are out there at the moment. It's Dundee United on the attack early on. Emmanuel Adji playing it to Christian Carestes. Will Ferry now on the near side for us here in the main stand. Tries to play the 1-2 with Sapsford. Maybe could have held on to that, Zach Sapsford. He had a bit of space, but instead ends up giving the ball away, and Will Ferry closes down. It will be a Kilmarnock throw on the near side down in the corner. Just looking at the stats, Dundee United haven't won here since May 2016. John Rankin, what needs to change if they're going to write a bit of history there.
Probably a bit of urgency. I mean, when you look at how they've played this afternoon, the back three have had plenty of possession, but they haven't played the ball forward quickly enough. It's been slow across the back. Kilmarnock have dropped into shape, but when they do get the ball, I think we need to get Will Ferry on it as much as they possibly can. But I'd imagine Jim spent a bit of time at half-time explaining how they can get Will Ferry on the ball against Finlay Curtis 1v1, and Finlay's been switched to the left-hand side, so sometimes these things happen as a manager. But you're looking at United, I think their best way back into the game is Will Ferry on this left side, either delivering or making runs into the box, and it'll have to come through him for them to get back into it.
It's Dundee United who still have the ball on the Kilmarnock half, hoofed towards the edge of the box. George Stanger didn't take a touch, Robbie Dees did, and heads away. Tishbola adding a little more on. Adji and Bruce Anderson going into the challenge now. Adji's gone down holding his face there. Anderson might have just caught him with a stray hand. Adji not in too much discomfort, but it will be a free kick to Dundee United.
Finger to the eye, maybe?
Aye, possibly. I just wonder with the switch with Curtis as well. I mean, Will Ferry, Curtis did great in the first half, really well, but Ferry was Dundee United's best player, so I just wonder whether being 1-0 up, getting that attacking impetus further forward, and also shoring up slightly defensively as well in 1v1 situations down that left-hand side for Dundee United, because I think Larson will deal well with Ferry.
Well, Kilmarnock were trying to break away there. Bruce Anderson thought he was in behind, but it was a free kick. In fact, he'd fouled Dario Namo. What's interesting, what's changed from the first half, whenever Dundee United had a free kick in that first half near the halfway line, they just knocked it about among the centre halves. This time, they're making no mistake. Will Ferry's going to float this into the box just as he did a moment ago, looking for Christian Carestes on the edge of the area. He heads on. Zach Sapsford chasing up against Finlay Curtis, who just clears away. And Ferry will watch that go for a throw. So again, Kilmarnock able to repel that set piece from Dundee United. Emmanuel Adji on the ball inside his own half. United have had a little more urgency at the start of this second half as Ferry tries to find Sapsford. Dom Thompson, his first involvement is just to shepherd the ball out for a goal kick. Easy enough in the end there. Yeah, Will Ferry, we've talked about his goal scoring record. He's also got the most assists between these two sides, really. 6 assists so far this season for Dundee United. Looks like he's going to play a key part if they are going to get back into this match. Max Stryjek currently has the ball though, the Kilmarnock goalkeeper, and he punts it long, looking for Shuning Larson, who's trying to get in behind Ferry. Carestes with the header. Tishbola tries to cut out. Thought there might be a Kilmarnock free kick there. No, Jim Goodwin instead picks up and throws it to Ferry. Tries to take it quickly. Shuning Larson able to cut out. Tom Lowry to Kilty. There could be a chance for Kilmarnock. Anderson tries to squeeze it through to Hugo. Instead, Dundee United take the ball away and Tan Kamara comes away. Aaron Tishbola's down. Play goes on. The ball was Zach Sapsford. He opens up. He tries to curled effort from distance. Max Stryjek watches it go by. The Kilmarnock fans not happy. Aaron Tishbola still down on the centre circle. Thought there might be a free kick there for Kilmarnock. Nothing given by Kevin Clancy.
My initial instinct is to agree with the referee. I thought it was clean. I thought Tishbola was stretching for it, and the Dundee United player got there just before him. And I agree. I might change my mind on reflection, but certainly live, it didn't look like a foul.
Either way, it's ended up in a Kilmarnock goal kick, and again they've broken the press there quite well, but the ball's come across to Dom Thompson, who just plays it back to Robbie Dees, and they're under a bit of pressure again, and then Dees gives the ball away. Emmanuel Adji now with his foot on the ball for Dundee United in the Kilmarnock half. Neil Farrugia spins and plays it back to the Ghanaian midfielder. Pan Kamara now has the ball. He plays it to Will Ferry, who gets the cross away towards the back post. Namo with the header. Tries to play it back to Adji, who gets there first. Sapsford with the touch. It's bouncing around and Kilmarnock able to get it clear. This time it's the hosts who are a little slow to react at the back, but Kilty trying to break Bruce Anderson up the pitch. He's not kept that in though, and it will be a throw into Dundee United. But kind of similar to what we saw from Dundee United in the first half, down to the left of us really. Kilmarnock just a little bit slow in defence there. Dundee United starting to react quicker.
Yeah, Kilmarnock looks like they're causing their own problems just now. I mean, the game's all about momentum, and what they've done is they've got the ascendancy, they're on front, and they're trying to build out from the back. Dundee United came a little bit higher, a little bit more aggressive in the press, and they're just going to get caught around about their box. They're taking touches when it's unnecessary, maybe just clear it. Whereas the first half, Kilmarnock weren't taking any chances. The ball was just getting played forward at any opportunity, and they were going and getting support, but at the right time they would choose when to pass it. But just now I feel as if they're maybe forcing it when they're building out for the back.
Well, it will be a free kick to Kilmarnock there, and that's what the jeers were for. The home fans maybe not used to Kevin Clancy blowing their way. And it's just knocked back to Max Stryek. Tom Lowry had to be careful with that pass, and he's almost dinked it over the head of Farrugia, and then Dees has launched it forward. But now Kilmarnock trying to break. The ball might break for them. In fact, they're into the box. They've got a huge opportunity here, and they've scored! Kilmarnock are 2 to the goods, and they are a step closer to safety. They stun Dundee United on the break. Dundee United, who have been so much better in the opening 6 minutes of this second half, but instead it is Kilmarnock who are ahead. And I think that one is Finlay Curtis, who scored the goal in front of Steve Clark. Will he be on the plane to America? He won't be caring about that right now. All he cares about is the fact he's put Kilmarnock 2-0 up against Dundee United.
I think he is caring about it, Andrew. He actually waved over to Steve Clark to make sure he knew it was him that scored that there. What a finish. It's brilliant from Kilmarnock. We talk about it. They're overplaying, they're trying to build out. They just put their foot through the ball and they make a fight of it. But what happens is, rather than them staying deeper, Finlay Curtis just gambles on the second ball. As soon as the ball bounces, he gets his foot on it and he's clean through and goals. The most impressive part is there's someone at the back post. I don't know, I think it might be Bruce Anderson with support and run, but Finlay Curtis just opens his foot up and guides it in the far corner and off the post. It's a great finish, but it's a willingness to run forward. We spoke about it at half time in the first half. Kilmarnock have been doing it throughout the game and they've got the rewards there.
Yeah, John talks about the offensive side. The defensive side's really, really poor. It is a punt up the pitch. Ross Graham gets caught underneath it. Carestes, and Ross Graham's saying that to him now, but he's just as culpable. Carestes has got to get round on the cover, because if Claire Harding doesn't win the ball, which he doesn't, and it drops, Kilmarnock are in and goal, which is what happened. So between the three of them, they've struggled all day long, and my goodness, they were culpable, all three of them there, for different reasons.
And John, you pointed it out, Bruce Anderson was screaming for the ball in the middle. He was completely free, but Finlay Curtis had the confidence to take the shot on himself, and it looked like a pretty difficult chance to take as well. But he found the back of the net via kiss off the post as well. Brilliant from young Finlay Curtis. As Max Stryek launches it long for Kilmarnock, who now have a 2-goal lead over Dundee United. A huge goal at the bottom of the Scottish Premiership.
I've got to laugh here. Did you see Neil McCann's reaction there? Strycek steps in and fires a ball out the far side for a throw-in, and he's going crazy at the goalkeeper. 2 minutes before it, he's just put his foot through it, and Kilmarnock have got the lead or the second goal because of it. You can't listen. The players have got to play with the freedom. It's a bad kick out from Strycek, but again, it's a masterpiece at half time when he changes Finlay Curtis and plays him on the left hand side, gets the second goal.
And Kilmarnock have a free kick now. And then just caught in the midfield by Dundee United player, and their heads have probably gone down quite a bit after that. They'd started the second half so well.
Yeah, it's great timing, that goal, from a Kilmarnock perspective, without a shadow of a doubt, because Dundee United were starting to gain some dominance in the game, and Kilmarnock's second goals come at a perfect time, so they'll be hoping, Neil McCann will be hoping they can take that impetus forward.
What will Kilmarnock do from the set piece? Dom Thompson was over it, so is Greg Kilty. He just plays it short into the middle for Shuning Larsson, who plays it back to Dom Thompson, and he just chips it towards the box now. Adji lets it bounce and then clears away. There's a Kilmarnock player down in the box holding his face after Adji kind of come away from him, and then Adji might have caught another Kilmarnock player who's down. I think it might be Aaron Tishbola. A real mess down there. And Adji almost getting himself into mischief. Aaron Tishbola slapping the turf, I think, in pain. He looks in a bad way, and that's never nice to see, especially at this stage of the season.
I think it's a follow through from Adji. He goes to clear it, and as he goes to clear it, Tishbola comes over, and it's just a follow through. But again, the ball into the box causing problems for Dundee United. They didn't deal with the first one, the second one bounces. You can see the hunger from the Kilmarnock players. You can see the hunger from them to go and win the first tackle, win the first ball. They're playing, the game means something to Kilmarnock. I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything to Dundee United, but Kilmarnock have a real purpose here.
Well, we've got the VAR in our headset, and I'm not hearing that there is anything for Kevin Clancy to come across and look at, so no ongoing checks. Dundee United maybe breathe a sigh of relief at that, because it looked like a nasty one, and Tishbola's still down receiving treatment. There's a couple of bodies over, talking to Neil McCann at the moment as well. Dundee United, though, no one's speaking to Jim Goodwin at the moment. Maybe they don't want to go too near their manager in case of his ire and his frustration. Tishbola still looks to be in a real amount of pain as Kilmarnock send a couple of substitutes out to warm up, and now Ross Graham and Max Waters do come across to take on a bit of hydration here in the sun.
Yeah, you'd imagine David Watson would be top candidate for coming on for Kilmarnock. You would imagine Tishbola will be a blow if he goes off, because he's been excellent today. Dundee United at times with Kamara and Adju, for me they've both done the same job, and John spoke about it a number of times. They've sat, and then it's meant that Kilmarnock in the middle of the pitch have had the dominance on the ball, whereas Tishbola's just done that job by himself and allowed the other two just to get forward, or the ones around him. So he'll be a big blow and a miss if he goes off, because he's dominated that midfield area today.
Just to pick up on something you said there, Rory, David Watson, I think I expected him to have a really big season this year for Kilmarnock. His contract's coming up. I thought it might be, the season he really kicks on and then earns the move at the end of the year, but it's not really panned out that way for him this campaign.
Well, look, for a young player, it's a difficult set of circumstances with the side being down in a relegation battle for long periods of the season. There's not been a lot of confidence in the full side, never mind just David Watson this year, and that's a difficult environment. I watched him up at Tannadice, Kilmarnock's only away win this year, earlier in the season, and he was outstanding. He was really, really good, and the team were on a high at that point, and he did have a good run of games. But when the players around you are struggling for confidence, aren't playing particularly well, and it's all hands to the pump in terms of just trying to grind out results, it maybe doesn't feed into what he's good at. He is a box-to-box midfielder, and he can get in about it, but I just think the environment this year at Kilmarnock hasn't helped him, whereas under Derek McInnes the team were doing slightly better, and it probably gave him a slightly healthier environment to go and show what he can do.
Well, Aaron Tishbola is up on his feet and he's over at the touchline. He's speaking to the fourth official. He's clearly furious. There might be a cut or something there, but from the communication that we could hear, certainly it sounded like it was a clearance from Emmanuel Adji, and he's just accidentally caught Aaron Tishbola, who is, like I say, thankfully back to his feet. As Kilmarnock launch it long, Kiltie able to control, just knocks it back to Shuning Larsson. Kilmarnock looking for a third here to kill the game off. Shuning Larsson still going from right to left, and he finds Dom Thompson, who then passes it straight out of play. Finlay Curtis couldn't do much about that. Neil McCann jumps in the air in frustration, but certainly the ascendancy fully with Kilmarnock again now. If they could find another goal, they would be comfortable. As Will Ferry lets the ball bounce over his head, he's up by the halfway line. Got Tom Lowry there for comfort, just knocks it back to Koresh Des, who turns back and under pressure from Bruce Anderson plays the ball to Ross Graham. Pan Kamara over to Sam Cleal-Harding, plays the ball back to Pan Kamara. He's had a couple of decent passes, Sam Cleal-Harding, so far. The Scotland under-21 international. Might get a bit more football if Dundee United don't have all that much to play for. That's the silver lining, I suppose, if you're a Dundee United fan. As Max Stryjek now has the ball inside the Kilmarnock box and again launches it long, and again they've got decent numbers there, but this time Koresh Des is able to cut out, and Dundee United could try and come forward. Will Ferry has just lamped the ball into the head of Michael Shuning Larsson, who's gone down. That was a really sore one for the Estonian, and immediately the physios are on to attend to the Kilmarnock fullback.
Yeah, that is a sore one. Point blank range. Ferry can whack the ball, that's for sure, and he smacks it straight off his face from about 2 yards away. So physio was straight on. Ferry also showed a degree of concern for Shuning Larsson, so hopefully he's okay. I know concussion plays a big part these days. When people go down with head knocks, you need to assess it properly, fully, and see what's going on, but he seems to be okay, but we'll wait and see what the decision is.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a sore one. Meanwhile, Dundee United are readying a couple of changes. Ivan Dolcek and Vichko Chevelle ready to come on, as Kilmarnock have called a couple of players across from the substitutes bench as well. Max Waters is going to be one of those players replaced, so that does suggest, Roy, that Zach Sapsford might be playing as an out-and-out number 9 with Ivan Dolcek coming on, and Vichko Chevelle is the other player coming on. I'm just waiting to see who he's replacing. It looks like Christian Cresta is. So Chevelle can play in that back three, but he can also play in midfield. Perhaps a change of shape for Dundee United. We'll have to see the next time they set up, really. Good news for Kilmarnock is Michael Shuning Larsson is back to his feet on the touchline and looks like he's ready to come back on, as Will Ferry prepares to wind up this long throw. Kilmarnock are about to bring Liam Polworth on as well, but that change not going to happen just yet. Will Ferry now with the throw into the box. Kilmarnock clear at the second attempt, and Namo has to chase the ball back. Shooning Larson back on the pitch. Kilmarnock back to their full complement as the ball is chipped forward by Namo, and it's George Stanger with the header. Farrugia can pick this up on the right hand side. It's an opportunity to get the ball into the box. He cuts back onto his left and tries to cross now. Easy enough for Tom Lowry to just clear that as Hugo puts Namo under pressure. Namo's done well there though and plays it to Farrugia. Another wave of Dundee United attack this time. Desperate to find the next goal in this game to put themselves right back in it. Farrugia hangs the ball up. Ross Graham attacking it. Max Stryek punches strongly away, but Kilty's touch isn't the best, and Dundee United have another chance to try and get this in. Will Ferry with it. Back onto his right foot. Crosses in, and Robbie Dees heads away. It will drop for United again though. Farrugia on the edge of the box. Spins really nicely away from Hugo. Crosses low. Dom Thompson is the man to block this time, and Hugo on the volley shins it high into the air. Still not very well clear though. Namo, lovely touch. And again Farrugia will try and cross this one. Knocks it back to Kamara instead. It is Dundee United who are dominating. Anderson almost takes it off the toes of Cleel Harding. The ball now with Ivan Dolcek, knocks it back to Ferry. Will Ferry begging for options, and he finds it in Ross Graham, who stayed up the pitch, the big centre half. He tries the cross, it will go out for a throw. Kilmarnock will take a breath and make a change as well. Liam Polworth is coming on, and he'll replace Bruce Anderson, so maybe a slightly defensive change to that from Neil McCann.
Yeah, looks that way. Maybe a 4-2-3-1 with Kilty playing off of Hugo, but it's definitely changed the shape because Polworth's coming on and Anderson's coming off. But are they going to try and protect the lead with half an hour to go? I'm not so sure it's the right thing to do, but especially when they've got the Asensi. I think there's more goals in it for Kilmarnock, especially the way they've played. There's certainly opportunities, but again, Dundee United now have changed their shape as well, although we've not had a chance to actually see what they're doing with the amount of throw-ins and corners they've had over the last couple of minutes.
That's another throw-in now. Will Ferry will wind another one up. The flags fluttering in the breeze here at Rugby Park. Ferry launches it in towards the 6-yard box. It's Kilty with the header. The volley from Emmanuel Adji right into the ribs, I think, of Tom Lowry, who rolled about a bit and then got straight back up. That would have been a sore one as well. Kilmarnock putting their bodies on the line as Shooning Larson, fresh from a head knock, just heads it into the air. Ross Graham looking for Ivan Dolcek. Heading the ball down. It's Kilmarnock who now have it. Tom Lowry plays it back to Shooning Larson, the left back, deputising it right back. Comes to Max Stryek, plays it just in front of Zach Sapsford, and we do have a goal in the top six as well from Falkirk.
It is a goal for Falkirk. A lovely ball through to substitute Henry Cartwright. He'd just been on the pitch for literally a minute.
Sorry to interrupt you, Martin Dowden. We've got a goal again at Kilmarnock. It's an absolute nightmare for Dundee United. The ball back to the goalkeeper. It's too soft. There's not enough on it. And Joe Hugel steals in to put Kilmarnock 3-0 up. Dundee United's day well and truly over, and Kilmarnock firing themselves to glory.
Well, how many of these have we seen recently, John? Goalkeepers, I'm not quite convinced it was the goalkeeper's fault. I would need to see it again, but it's a short back pass from Cleel Harding, and Joe Hugel reads it. I don't know how many times in my career I closed a goalie down. He never did that. Help me out, but my goodness me, it's a massive error from Dundee United, and you would have to say at this stage that's the game wrapped up for Kilmarnock.
I'm not sure it's the goalkeeper's fault. I think it's Cleel Harding. The ball's played over the top. He's running on. It doesn't look as if he's sprinting. He's quite ambling. Hugo's trying to pressurise him, but rather than playing it with his instep, like you just do the basics, he tries to play it with outside his foot, just be a little bit too smart, and Hugo nips in and just toe pokes it past the goalkeeper. Listen, it's really good from Hugo's point of view and a Kilmarnock point of view, because they've not given United a minute this afternoon in a defensive third. And you can see Kilmarnock, we spoke about it before the game, confidence, aggression. Are they going to go and play with that? They have, they certainly have, and they're now at 3-0.
3-0 to Kilmarnock here at Rugby Park over Dundee United. But as Martin Dowden was telling us, there was a goal at Falkirk. Martin, tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, it was a great ball through for Henry Cartwright. He'd literally just come onto the park a minute or so before that. He took the ball really well, left-footed, past the goalkeeper Callum Ward, and goal. Finally a breakthrough here. It's Falkirk 1, Motherwell 0.
Well, Dundee United have got a throw high up the park again. This is actually where Kilmarnock's third goal came from. Will Ferry on the far side is about to launch one into the box. That's what he does. The header's not the best, and Ferry will get to the second ball first, and I think he's won the corner as well. Yeah, that does look like the decision. There's a Kilmarnock player down. I think it's maybe hit him in not the best spot as he gets back to his feet slowly. Will Ferry over this one. Again, it was the goal scorer, Joe Hugel, who's back defending there. Ferry ready to put this one in. Dundee United have to strike quickly if they're going to get anything from this game. Ferry, it's right on top of the goalkeeper, and Max Stryek gathers that comfortably, thinks about going quickly. Well, we've not got the benefit of replays. A man who does is Andy Halliday back in the studio. Andy, where do you sit on that? Was that goalkeeper or defender at fault for Dundee United?
Yeah, it was Coolharden for me. I think he's too casual with his back pass. I think he's got a couple of yards on Joe Hugel. He shouldn't give him even a chance to get to the ball. And I think Dave Richards is actually back-tacking ever so slightly to give Coolharden the opportunity to roll it back to him, to clear it up the pitch, but he just doesn't get enough on it. But take nothing away from Joe Hugel. Doesn't give up on the play, does ever so well to touch it by Dave Richards, but yeah, it's on the defender for me.
But what about the other game in the bottom six? Dundee taking on St Mirren at Dens Park. Willie Miller, what can you tell us?
Well, Dundee are getting a bit of a roasting in the second half, to be perfectly honest. It's turned round as far as St Mirren are concerned. They've had chances, Mandron, Richardson, Mandron again, and then Phillips, a tight angle shot, and they're under pressure. McCracken's just had to go off, change a goalkeeper for Dundee as well. So whereas Dundee were good in the first half, certainly not in the second half, and it's all been about how good St Mirren, although they haven't managed to get that equaliser yet.
Is Steve Clark going to have any goalkeepers to pick from come the summer if John McCracken's out as well? Currently, Dundee United on the ball here at Rugby Park, and speaking of roasting, it's a glorious day down in Ayrshire. I think it's the first time I've ever taken my jacket off at Rugby Park. It's a lovely day, but not for Dundee United, who are 3-0 down to Kilmarnock. As Ross Graham tries to play it up the line for Zach Sapsford, that'll go all the way out. For the travelling United fans, it's not been the best journey, has it, John Rankin?
I don't understand that, Andrew. Right? So Ferry's got the ball there, and Dolchek makes a run in behind, and he point blank refuses to pass it, even though Dolchek's made the run, play it forward. Ross Graham then run forward and plays the exact pass that Ferry should have played when it's never on and it goes straight out the pitch. I'd be pulling my hair out as a Dundee forward today.
That's Emmanuel Adju who has it. Dundee United coming forward again. Can't they get their forwards into it now? Ivan Dolchek plays it to Will Ferry, fires it in low. Aaron Tish-Bola away. He's recovered really well from that knock, and I'm just looking down at the benches. Doesn't look like there's going to be another change imminently. Neil McCann will be a lot happier than Jim Goodwin. I'm sure Jim Goodwin looks silent. I don't know if that's a good thing. Will Ferry launching it towards the front post with the header. Ross Graham flicked it on. It came off the post and then it's gone behind. It will be a corner. Max Stryek, arms outstretched. He thinks he was fouled there. That's probably about the closest Dundee United have actually come to a goal there. Ross Graham with the flick on, and it will be a corner. Will Ferry with the outswinger. Kevin Clancy going across to have a little discussion here. I think it's with Dom Thompson. Maybe Dolchek right in front of the goalkeeper. Max Stryek, the sun really in his eyes. This is an opportunity for Dundee United. Ferry whips it. The header is from a Kilmarnock player. Drops to the edge of the box. It was Pan Kamara with the shot. It was blocked by a Kilmarnock defender, but it's come to Will Ferry again. He stands the defender up, clips it in. Aaron Tish-Bola heads away. Pan Kamara having to run backwards and then just plays it into Dario Namo. Emmanuel Adji picking up. Thinks about the long diagonal towards Ferry. Greg Kiltie has a little look and then heads away. But Ross Graham should be able to pick that up. Not the best touch from the Dundee United skipper. But he picks the ball up again and this time plays it down the line, and this time it's a good ball. Will Ferry into Dolchek. Sapsford on the support line. Dolchek goes himself, but he didn't get enough. He had a little shimmy and then hits with his right foot, but it just trundles towards the bottom corner, and Max Stryek able to pick up.
Yeah, he's done really well today, Max Stryek, actually. You could argue that that corner he conceded there was avoidable, but other than that, he's not put a foot wrong after a long layoff. Dolchek there does the right thing. He just doesn't get any purchase on it. He's trying to curl it with his inside of his foot or just wrap his foot round it into the far corner, but he just cannot get enough purchase on it to trouble Stryek.
It's Dundee United on the ball at the moment. Scores elsewhere. Inverness 2-0 up on Hamilton Accies. Stenhousemuir 2-0 up, but it won't really matter. It looks like Inverness are going to wrap up the League One title. Down in League Two, East Kilbride 4-0 up on Clyde. And they're going to wrap up the League 2 title as well. And they're helped by the fact that Spartans are currently drawing 2-2 with Stirling Albion as well. Meanwhile, Dundee United have a corner. Max Stryk, I think, it's just taken the ball accidentally over the byline. As Dundee United prepare another couple of changes. Craig Sibbald coming on. Soon to depart, Craig Sibbald, of course, off to Falkirk. He replaces Pan Kamara. And meanwhile, there's another change. Zach Sapsford off and Johnny Russell on. A man who has scored a hat-trick here before in his first spell at Dundee United. That was back in 2013. He's not scored since returning to Dundee United. He's only played about 42 minutes of football. Can he try and get a goal to get them back into this game? Imagine he got all three. What a game that would be for Johnny Russell. He's got an opportunity here because Dundee United have the corner. Again, it's an in-swinger. And it's put high into the sky this time. Ross Graham nods it back into the middle, but then it's a Kilmarnock head that gets it away. Chevet, good header out to Emmanuel Adjei. Lovely touch. And he puts it in towards the back post. Brilliant ball from Emmanuel Adjei. But no Dundee United player was there at the back post. They weren't on the same wavelength. And it goes behind for a goal kick, but huge opportunity there.
Yeah, massive opportunity. It's hugely frustrating for Jim Goodwin. You see Adjei, it's a great touch to take him away from the defender and just guides it between goalkeeper and 6-yard line. But there's about 4 Kilmarnock jerseys in there. There's not one Dundee United player in there. There's just a hunger to go and score a goal. And that's what I'm saying. At this time of the season, Kilmarnock have got everything to play for. Their lives depend on it. They're playing for their livelihoods here. And you can see that with the urgency. And not just that, the aggression in their play.
Dundee United coming forward again. That's been the way it's gone in the second half. The ball's into the box. There's Johnny Russell. It's Craig Sibbald, and there was the chance for Dundee United. It was brilliantly laid back to him by Dario Namo, and I think he's just sliced it well over the bar. Huge opportunity for United.
Yeah, it sets up for him. It's a good set from Namo. Sets him at penalty spot. Sibbald just goes to, I think he goes to pass it into the net. It looks as if it comes off the top of his foot or his ankle and goes wildly by.
It took a strange wee bounce or something, but it did look like it flicked up. But it's a huge chance for them to get back in it. Well, there's still 18 minutes to go. If that goes in the back of the net, you never know. But the two biggest opportunities for Dundee United in the second half have come from the seconds they've made the substitutions.
Yeah, I think Rory are spot on. I think there was a little bobble there. We'll be kind to Craig Sibbald. Kilmarnock readying a couple more changes. Looks like Rory McKenzie is one of them and Kyle McGuinness the other. As Kilmarnock don't get the free kick that Michael Tuning-Larsen wanted. Just a throw to Dundee United. They're 3-0 down with 72 minutes on the clock. Kilmarnock doing any fears of relegation the world of good as Vichko Chevel launches it long. Ivan Dolchek, lovely touch to take that out the sky, but the offside flag is up to ruin the moment for the Croatian.
I'm really disappointed in the referee and the linesman there, Andrew. That touch should be worshipped, not flagged for offside.
Automatically onside after that.
Unreal, just to pluck that out of the sky over his head and take it in his toe, not even break his stride.
Do you know much about why he's fallen off a cliff in terms of his playing time? Because the first 5 games of the season he looked like a world beater. You see clips of him and wee flashes of him when he comes on, and he looks absolutely outstanding at times. So, I mean, why has he played so little football?
I haven't a clue. You look at him and the touches that he has, and even when he comes inside off the left-hand side, it's a step over, feints, defender goes for it, and he's got a shot at goal. He's been really positive since he comes on, but I haven't a clue why he's not continued that route playing a form.
Well, there's a triple change there for Kilmarnock. Rory McKenzie, Kyle McGuinness, both on. I'll tell you about the third one in a second. More importantly, the players coming off: Michael Tuning-Larsen, Greg Kiltie, who I was speaking to a Kilmarnock fan yesterday. He was saying for his money, Greg Kiltie probably their player of the season. He had another good showing today. And Finlay Curtis came off as well. There was maybe a little limp from the Scotland cap as well. Don't know if that's just because he's coming off, but it's triple change there for Kilmarnock as Rory McKenzie tries to close down Dario Namo. He's done well there. Namo trying to skip away from him and just knocks it back to Ross Graham. Plays it up the line, looking for Craig Sibbald. United break the line well. Sibbald looking for his options. He goes to the right. Chevet on the wraparound. Farrugia trying to play it to him now. Chevet might still get there. Challenging Dom Thompson for the ball. Vichko Chevet, a big shoulder charge. Both of them ride it well though. Farrugia knocks it back to Emmanuel Adji. United showing some fight here. Sybil trying to break the line, tried to lay it off. It comes to Farrugia anyway, gets the shot off it straight at Max Stryjek. But Dundee United now are, 15 minutes to play, they're 3-0 down. Now they're showing the intensity that they've lacked all game.
That's the first time in the full game that one of the centre-backs have stepped in and actually broke the line and fired it through. And it was Sybil that was able to get it in the half-turn.
The ball with, that's Liam Polworth to Spola. And now Tom Lowry out to Kyle McGuinness, who seems to be playing at right back at the moment. Kyle McGuinness for Kilmarnock. George Stanger under a bit of pressure, did well to find Thompson, who then puts Dees under a world of pressure. In fact, Dees is going to let that one go out. He hesitated. I think he might have actually been able to get there, but this is a chance for Dundee United. Will Ferry was coming across to take the long throw. United have taken it quickly. Ferry has to get on his bike to come all the way back to left back, as United knock it between Sam Cleal-Harding and Ross Graham. Vichko Chevelle, last year's player of the season for Dundee United. Again, his contract up at the end of the year, but I think Jim Goodwin will trigger an extension there for Vichko Chevelle if he can. Ross Graham has come forward for United and he just knocks it back to Ferry. Johnny Russell trying to get free from Aaron Tishbola. Ferry, a lovely ball with the outside of the foot towards Craig Sibbald. Robbie Dees has to head behind. Will Ferry, not bad at all. That cross, it's a Trevela, they call that.
Is that right? I mean, who needs a right foot when you can do that? Because, excuse me, that was unbelievable. He just wrapped the outside of his boot around it, and it was a really good ball into a dangerous area.
It's one United the corner. Dolchek with the outswinger up for Ross Graham. Might still sit for Dundee United. There's the shot from Vichko Chevelle. Max Stryjek palms it over. For a second that looked goal bound, but Chevelle just not close enough to the corners with his shot there. And in fact, I think there was a free kick or an offside in there somewhere. I think they're saying even Ivan Dolchek's corner actually swung out of play, so it wouldn't have counted anyway.
Andrews, Kilmarnock need to be careful here, because you can feel the crowd getting a little bit edgy as well. If Dundee United do manage to get the next goal, there'll be a little bit of nerves going into the final bit. And just now, you're talking, there's 13 minutes left to go. Kilmarnock can see this game out, but they have to continue to play forward.
I was been looking to see who actually was that third sub for a long time for Kilmarnock. It was Lewis Mayo that's come on, so he's actually now moved into that right back role. Kyle McGuinness more of a right winger really, as Dundee United try and keep the ball on the far side. Neil Farrugia knocks it back to Sam Cleal-Harding. The youngster made that mistake for the third goal. Generally has impressed Sam Cleal-Harding on his outings for the first team, it must be said, after he broke into the United first team at the tail end of last season. Hasn't had too many opportunities this year, as United just launch it forward and launch it straight out of play. And Kilmarnock, like you say, John, just need to be careful, and they're taking the sting out of this, the pace that Lewis Mayo is trudging back to take this throw in.
Yeah, they have to. As I said, the stadium's began to change the kind of atmosphere and the noise in it, to the crowd looking at the clock and thinking, just get the 3 points and make sure we don't give anything away here. But we're talking about Cleal-Harding. He's made a mistake for the goal. What better time? We know Dundee United are safe. We know they're not in any bother. Go and give him the experience, and fair play to Jim. Of course he's made a mistake, but he'll come back better for that. He just has to try and get himself through the next.
Well, he's given the ball away again, but he was sold short by his goalkeeper. Kilmarnock might be on for a fourth year. Here's Hugo, he drags it wide. Huge opportunity for Kilmarnock to really stick the knife in there, but they've gotten away with one there. Sam Cleal-Harding, I thought he was sold short by Dave Richards, but then he makes the pass without really looking, and Kilmarnock able to capitalise on it.
Yeah, I mean, they're masters of their own downfall so far, Dundee United, in this second half. I actually thought Hugo looked offside, a couple of yards offside, so it would have been interesting if that had ended up in the back of the net. But Kilmarnock, at that end of the pitch, and John saying they look a bit nervy at the back now. I mean, goal difference. This has been a big day for goal difference for them, and that may sound like a small detail, but at the end of the day, with what's between them and St Mirren and how close things are, and they play each other next week, you just never know. I don't know if that's a foul.
That's not a foul for me. It's great pressure from Polworth on Ajayi. Ajayi's not aware that he's there. Polworth gets his toe in front, takes the ball, and the referee gives a free kick.
That's Dundee United who have the ball. That was just on the halfway line. Johnny Russell's gone down. That's another free kick for Dundee United.
Just a desire to go and get the ball back, Andrew. That's all it is for Kilmarnock. A desire and a hunger to go and win the ball back and make sure they don't concede a goal. And again, I speak about there's 11 minutes to go here. See the game out. Can they go and get a fourth goal? And as Rory's talking about the goal difference, it can make a massive difference come 3 weeks' time.
And a confused set piece there. Might work in the end for Dundee United. I think they're probably going to get away with a throw. No, Kyle McGuinness, he tried to keep it in. It will be a Dundee United throw. But from that position, maybe 35, 40 yards out, Ross Graham was coming forward. The defenders were coming forward. And Vichko Chevet just takes a quick free kick just to Ross Graham, who then plays it to Will Ferry, who's got no options. Eventually it was just launched aimlessly towards the box. Now it's ended up in a throw-in for Dundee United here, but just a lack of ideas and a lack of direction as Will Ferry launches the ball in. Graham with the flick on. Where's it bouncing? It's just over the bar. Tom Thompson watched it all the way, and it will just be a goal kick to Kilmarnock. Just looking at the table, Rory, you mentioned goal difference. Kilmarnock on minus 26, St Mirren minus 24, and Dundee minus 21. It looks like Dundee will probably, with the current scoreline against St Mirren, they're 1-0 up. They'll probably be just about out of danger, you'd imagine. But yeah, a huge win this potentially for Kilmarnock, and of course it will mean that Livingston are down. As you'd imagine, Kilmarnock about to pick up the 3 points as Aaron Tishbola tries to play it across. Tom Lowry able to pick up. Scoreline with 81 minutes gone. Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 0. Dario Namo has it, plays it to Emmanuel Adji. Looking for options, just goes to Ross Graham. The ball in the Dundee United half as Graham strides out with it. Kilmarnock not putting him under too much pressure, maybe just inviting a little pressure in the last 10 minutes. It would be an unbelievable result if Dundee United were to get anything positive from this, but they've just given the ball away, and Tishbola is getting away from Chevelle. He's got an option to the right hand side, and Hugo, he tries to slip him in now, and Chevelle able to get back just in time and atone for his error. I think the flag's gone up against Joe Hugo in any case, but that has been a couple of occasions where Dundee United have just given away the ball in a dangerous area, and Kilmarnock have almost punished them.
Well, Tishbola, to be fair, I mean, let's flip it and say it's unbelievable desire and commitment to go and get the ball back and try and win it high up the pitch. I think Tishbola's been the best player on the pitch today. Lowry's been not far behind him, but been really impressed with Tishbola.
Yeah, I think this is his third spell at Rugby Park. It's been a big signing for them since returning in January. Signing that really came out of the blue. I think it was on deadline day as well. As Kilmarnock have the ball, and it's flicked over, and Rory McKenzie will chase this up against Dario Namo. Rory McKenzie with a good handful of Dario Namo, shall we say, in the free kick. Unsurprisingly, goes to Dundee United. I would say Rory McKenzie, I think he always knew he wasn't winning that foot race.
Yeah, I think that's a sign of, I know I'm in my 30s now and I'm not going to get there first, but I'm going to try and get into a body battle with you. But no, again, he's a willing runner, willing to run forward, and that's been the difference this afternoon. Kilmarnock play the ball forward, it goes up to come back, and they've got runners for the through pass, and it's made a big difference to them.
And Sam Cleal-Harding just knocks it back to Dave Richards, the goalkeeper. Vichko Chevelle dropping back to try and play this forward. And just looking at the stats, Dundee United have had far more shots, and their XG is not bad either, but they've just been too slack at the back. It's been too easy for Kilmarnock at times when they've gone forward. And Cleal-Harding just knocks it back to Emmanuel Adji, who has the ball in the midfield now. Dario Namo back into Adji, who Jim Goodwin was tipping for a World Cup call-up with Ghana. Emmanuel Adji, he's blown hot and cold today. Some really good, some really bad. Vichko Chevelle now has it for United. Sibbald round the corner trying to find Johnny Russell slack, but Russell will pick up the ball anyway. He's got an option to the right hand side. He's probably going to have to go himself. He tries to turn back left, and he's just caught by Rory McKenzie. Dundee United will come back at Kilmarnock here. Craig Sibbald out to Will Ferry on the left. Thinks about the ball in, then just steps back and plays it inside to Dolchek instead. Adji thought about the shot from about 30 yards out. Instead played it to Dolchek, to his countryman Chevelle. Knocks it back to Cleal-Harding. Kilmarnock have just about everyone behind the ball. Dundee United not really doing enough to try and break this low block that Kilmarnock are currently sitting in. Ferry thinks about going for the right foot, then unsurprisingly just dinks it in with the left, and Tishbola heads away. And Polworth, poor pass though, picked up by Dolchek, gets away from McGuinness on the left hand side of the box, could try and cross this in. Ferry is his support, Dolchek goes himself, Sybil tries to chest it down, Tishbola side foots that away, and again it will be another phase of possession for Dundee United, who just haven't had the creativity in the final third to really trouble Kilmarnock as they ready another change, and it's another young Scot coming on, Owen Sturton, looking to play his part in the final stages of this. About 5 minutes left. Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 0, as Rory McKenzie heads away a ball over the top, and Dom Thompson hooks it high into the sky. Well, it's kept in by Tishbola. Will he win the throw there? No, he won't. Thrown to Dundee United on the far side as they do make that change now, and it's Neil Ferrugia coming off to be replaced by Owen Sturton.
Yeah, he's not played an awful lot of football, Owen Sturton. I watched him in possibly his last start actually away at Livingston. He's maybe had one or two since, and he was really good that night. Just a little bit inconsistent and raw, as you'd expect from a young player, but what he has done over the last couple of years since the first one is he's filled out, and he can be a real focal point up there. He's just trying to tidy up his game to get to a point where his manager trusts him to give him a little bit more game time, but fingers crossed he can develop into a right good player.
Yeah, I think this is just his 8th outing for United this season. He played 7 times on loan at Airdrie as part of that cooperative agreement. His only goal this season was for United, and it was against Kilmarnock. That was back in the League Cup group stages a long time ago now. As United again have the ball, this time in the centre circle. Will Ferry grimacing as he made the run forward. Johnny Russell couldn't play the pass to him. It will go out for a Dundee United throw though. Craig Sibbald, like we say, Falkirk bound Craig Sibbald. All saw that photo of him with the Falkirk scarf above the head. As Will Ferry crosses in, Owen Sturton got ahead to it, but it's high and over the bar. Decent ball in again from Will Ferry, and Owen Sturton doing the right thing there. Yeah, it was a really good ball in. I think Sibbald's made a difference. He's willing to take the ball in tight areas, he's willing to come short, never shies away. Tishbola's given him a wee knock a few times, but I think Sibbald's made a difference to getting that a little bit more dominance higher up the pitch. Yeah, it's a change of shape as well. The United went a back 4, 1 sitter in midfield and 2 in behind the strikers, and Sibbald quite rightly being able to go off the back of the Kilmarnock midfield, and when they got off the back of the Kilmarnock midfield, the ball's not in the air, it's on the deck when it's coming through, and he's able to go on the half turn, so he's making a huge impact. As I said, the balls forward have been in the air most of the half, but as soon as Sibbald's coming on, you actually see it. Ross Graham's able to step in and fire it through the lines, and Sibbald's can go on the back foot, and we one round the corner. Don't get me wrong, they've not all come off, but he's had an impact in the game. Well, I suppose the worrying thing for any Dundee United fans listening is, they've still got a couple games to play in this split. They're not going to be in any bother. But is this performance a little bit worrying? Because you don't want to see this in the final few stages of the campaign, Rory.
No, I've said for weeks now that any team that finds themselves in no man's land, and by that I mean can't get relegated, which you don't want to be in a relegation scrap, but I mean generally speaking, if you're playing against a team where everything's on the line for them and you've got nothing to play for, psychologically, I'm not saying it's intentional, but subconsciously there's going to be a part of you that knows that there's nothing on the line, and then you're playing against a team who's really up for it. So their fans will be hoping they can get over that and move on, and they take their medicine today and go, do you know what, don't let this happen again, let's try and see the season out with a bang.
You might have heard a cheer there. That was because a Kilmarnock fan putting a brilliant header after Joe Hugo had just lashed it into the stands to get the ball back in play. In the 88th minute, Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 0. A result that currently has Kilmarnock up to 10th, a point above St Mirren, who are currently losing 1-0 to Dundee. And a result as well that confirms Livingston's relegation from the Scottish Premiership. There could be a late chance for Dundee United though. Dolchek gets the shot away, and again no real conviction. It fell to his left foot and he looked to try and drill it into the bottom corner, but it was far too close to Max Stryjek, and still nothing for the Dundee United fans who've made the journey to cheer about.
Yes, Stryjek, everything he's done today has been really tidy, and it's all been round about him. I don't think it's anything to do with poor finishing from Dundee United. I think it's just he's been on top form, been able to get himself down early, and he's not spilled anything either. He's been really tidy in the goal.
Will Ferry with a long ball out to Emmanuel Adji on the far side. Plays the 1-2 with Dolchek, gets it back. Dom Thompson putting him under pressure. He was going backwards, but he's found Vichko Chevelle, who steps in on the right, thinks about the shot from distance, just hesitates, and then just plays it back. It's Dundee United still on the ball. Adji playing it to Russell, just lays it off for Ross Graham. Will Ferry has it up against Kyle McGuinness, lays it off to Johnny Russell. Little touch around the corner, and he tries to cross it now. It's a decent one, but Robbie Dees heads away. Polworth up to Hugo, trying to get the touch that would have taken it away from Cleel Harding and put him straight through on goal. But instead, it's going to be a foul. Johnny Russell pulling down Aaron Tishbola in the midfield, as there is going to be 4 minutes of additional time as Aaron Tishbola looks pleadingly for a teammate to try and stretch his leg. The cramp just starting to set in now. 90 minutes on the clock, 4 minutes to play.
Andrew, it's an important time for Kilmarnock just now. Listen, they're going to win the game, we know they're going to win the game, but can they see it out with a clean sheet? See if they get a clean sheet, the confidence they'll get from that and scoring the 3 goals, it gives them something to build on, get into the final 3, especially it's a massive game next week now. But Neil McCann will be determined. See this out, make sure we keep a clean sheet, no goals against, no negatives to come out of today, and go and kick on again next week.
I think it's 3 clean sheets in 8 from Max Stryjek, so it'll be 4 in 9 after this. I don't think Kellaroos or any of the goalkeepers that Kilmarnock have had this season have come close to that, as Aaron Tishbola just passes the ball out of play. Will be a Dundee United throw inside their own half. So Dundee United's decent form coming into the end of the season looks to be at an end, and Livingston's brief return to the Premiership looks to be at an end as well. As things stand, there's just too much ground for them to make up with only 3 games remaining after this. They are 10 behind St Mirren. Looks like they are going down. The great escape will not be pulled off by Marvin Bartley's side, who have been improved since he became the interim manager. We do have another goal up in Inverness. Ailey Davis, what can you tell us?
Yeah, it's for the visitors this time. Hamilton have pulled one back. It was Kevin O'Hara, a low ball into the back of the net there. 2-1 now Inverness. Still, it does look, with just a few minutes to go here, that Inverness are going to clinch this League One title. Inverness, Cally Thistle 2, Hamilton 1.
A nervy finish perhaps though up north. Stenhousemuir, of course, that 2-goal lead over Montrose as Kilmarnock have the ball. Dundee United had come forward. It looked like Johnny Russell was going to pull the trigger, but he decided for the pass as well, and it wasn't the best option. Kilmarnock able to get it clear. 2 minutes remaining of additional time. Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 0. As Ross Graham puts a foot on the ball. Emmanuel Adji under no real pressure as the Rugby Park faithful start to praise their side as we come towards the end of this game. The cross in from Dario Namo. Lewis Mayo able to head away. Adji picks up. He has been very involved, certainly, the young Ghanaian, as Will Ferry curls to the back post. That should be headed away by Dom Thompson. It's just into the air, but it comes down, and Aaron Tishbola able to try and play this away, and Hugo's onto it, up against Cleel Harding. There's a man at the back post. If Hugo can get his head up, he's still going now. He tries to find the pass. That's where it goes. Polworth has an option to the left as well. Can he slip in Rory McKenzie? No, he can. Vichko Chevelle able to get back and clear. That was a real chance for Kilmarnock to make it 4. And really a real lack of ruthlessness there from the hosts.
Yeah, Liam Polworth, he knows the Kilmarnock players behind him, but what he doesn't know is that Savel's just got on his bike and ran back the way, something Dundee United haven't done enough of today, in truth, in all honesty, because Hugo does really, really well down the side. He cuts it back, but Savel's does well in the end to get it back, but huge opportunity to add another one there for Kilmarnock if they'd got the pass right.
Down in League 2, East Kilbride confirmed as champions with a 5-0 win over Clyde. It's finished. Montrose 0, Stenhousemuir 2. They've done everything they can, Gary Naismith's side. As Kilmarnock win a free kick on the far side with just seconds remaining here at Rugby Park. Kevin Clancy speaking to the free kick taker. Kilmarnock not throwing too many bodies forward. There's only a few options. Aaron Tishbola just waiting on the edge of the box. Dom Thompson stood hands on hips, ready to deliver as well. Dundee United still have to defend this. Kilmarnock wouldn't mind a 4th goal. Like Rory alluded to earlier, the goal difference would certainly be benefited, but they're not going to play it into the box. They just knock it around, and Kevin Clancy blows the full-time whistle. A tremendous win for Kilmarnock. It all started with Robbie Dees and his kung fu kick in the first half that put the ball into the top corner. That put them 1-0 up. They started the second half on the back foot. Dundee United came out of the traps firing, but Kilmarnock countered them, went up the other end, and Finlay Curtis scored under the watchful eye of Scotland head coach Steve Clarke. To add insult to injury, Dundee United conceded a third. It was all of their own making. Sam Cleal-Harding's back pass far too short for Dave Richards, and Joe Hugill able to steal in and make it 3-0 to Kilmarnock to wrap up all 3 points. A big win for Killie and a big result for Livingston. It means they are relegated from the Scottish Premiership after just one season back in the top flight. Full time at Rugby Park. It's Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 0.
Scottish football.